Chapter 786. Didn't we agree on it that day? We won't make a fuss in the future. You're a grown-up now. At least you have to avoid it. Xiaofan said. Yeah, didn't we agree that if something were to happen between us, it would have happened when we were young? Why would it wait until now? Xiao stuck out her tongue. Brother, you think too much. I just miss you a little bit. Okay. Xiaofan had no choice but to nod and agree. As for Tang, I can only wait. Why do I see that you seem to be very reluctant? Xiao saw Xiaofan's perfunctory attitude, and suddenly she was a little unhappy. What's wrong? There are many boys in our class who want to sleep with me. You're the only one who slept with me, and you look embarrassed. How can it be the same? Xiaofan glared at Xiao. I'm not them. This time I came back, I wanted to accompany Tang. I didn't spend much time with her last time. Yes, Sister Tang isn't here. She went home. Xiao said, she said that she had something to do and had to go home. She left you a letter and left. Otherwise, why would you shout you and play with me every day? I'm so annoyed with him. Hey. Tang left? Xiaofan was stunned. When? Why didn't I know? It was shortly after you left. Xiao said, she said that you went to perform a task. She was afraid to disturb you, so she didn't tell you and left you a letter. We didn't ask too much. She said that she had some private matters and left. So. Xiaofan frowned. Tang said that she wanted to break up with him. Although they talked it out later, Xiaofan still felt that Tang seemed to have something on her mind. He didn't expect her to leave. But didn't she say that she was Mrs. Yu? Why did she leave you Xiaochuan here? Xiao was annoyed. Yes, the letter is in Sister Tang's room. We didn't touch it. Xiao said, I'll accompany you to get it later. All right. Xiaofan nodded and took out his mobile phone. He dialed Tang's number, but the phone was turned off. It seemed that Tang didn't turn it on. Xiaofan's heart was slightly gloomy. Did she really want to break up with him and avoid him? Thinking of this, Xiaofan could not help but quicken his pace. Xiao pouted and followed behind. She felt that Xiaofan cared a lot about these girls, except for her. They came to Tang's previous villa one after another. Yu Xiaochuan was sitting in the yard practicing martial arts. When he saw Xiaofan coming back, his eyes suddenly lit up and he ran over quickly. Brother Xiao, you're back. Yes. Xiaofan nodded and said, are you used to it? It's good. It's better than my own home. Yu Xiaochuan said. Xiaofan was a little speechless. He wanted to change the topic and then let Yu Xiaochuan go back to his own home, but he didn't expect that this guy's words made Xiaofan speechless. He couldn't continue the conversation. He couldn't force him to leave, right? Moreover, Yu Xiaochuan had helped him a lot in the past. Without Yu Xiaochuan, he didn't know if he could deal with the Qian sect. So Xiaofan could only say, that's good. Is there anything on your Yu family side? Yu family? It's good. Now they are fully cooperating with the Xiao family. Yu Xiaochuan said, in fact, I don't need to do these things. I just need to shock them. Now they don't dare to be interested in those business matters. They just want to be a quiet little girl, handsome man. Oh. Xiaofan didn't continue this topic. Did Tang leave? Yes, she said she would go back and have a look. I didn't ask for details. Yu Xiaochuan didn't seem to care much about Tang's affairs. She left a letter in her bedroom. We don't have the key. She said you have it. Me? Oh. Xiaofan didn't have the key either, but Tang probably meant that Xiaofan could open the door without the key. He walked over and opened the door of Tang's room. The room was very clean, and the furnishings were almost the same as the previous rented house. There was a letter on the desk. Xiaochen picked it up and saw the words, "For Xiaochen," on it. Xiaochen tore open the envelope. Inside was a plain and unadorned letter paper. On it was written, "Xiaochen, I have thought about it carefully. We'd better separate. I don't think we are very suitable for each other. I said that you have changed, but it may be that I have changed. You can say that I am selfish or heartless. Anyway, I want to leave. Don't look for me. I won't let you find me. Maybe one day, I will come back to you after thinking it through. But not now. You don't have to be sad. You have so many girlfriends now. You don't need me. Well, even if we can't be lovers, we are still good buddies. Tang Tang." The date of the letter was just a few days after Xiaochen left. The letter was very short, but the message was very clear. Xiaochen sighed. In fact, he had guessed this result before he opened the letter. Tang Tang still wanted to separate from him. Although Xiaochen couldn't figure out the reason, he still respected Tang Tang's choice. After all, Tang Tang wanted to end this relationship, so there was no need for him to pester her. But Xiaochen still wanted to talk to Tang Tang face to face. He wanted to know the reason. Even if he acquiesced to Tang Tang's choice, he also wanted to know if there was any other situation. "I'm going out. Xiaochen said to you Xiaochuan and Xiao Xiao. You are going to see Tang Tang?" Xiao Xiao asked. "Yes, I'm going to the Tang family." Xiaochen nodded. "Brother Xiao, let me go with you." Yu Xiaochuan said. "Okay." Thinking that Yu Xiaochuan was the legitimate son-in-law of the Tang family, what would happen if he went? Although Xiaochen wasn't afraid of anything now, he still had to save some face for the Tang family. "I want to go too," Xiao Xiao said. "Then let's go together." Xiaochen wasn't going to fight, so he agreed to go together. After leaving the Xiao family, they went all the way to the Tang family. Outside the Tang family's door, they saw Yu Xiaochuan in the car, so they didn't stop him. They smoothly arrived at the Tang family's parking lot. However, as soon as the three of them got out of the car, the Tang family rushed over. Now, both Yu Xiaochuan and Xiaochen were hot figures in Songning. The Tang family couldn't wait to curry favor with them. Xiaochuan and Xiaochen are here." Master Tang walked over with a smile. Xiaochen looked at Master Tang and felt a little strange. Why is this guy's temperament exactly the same as Yu Xiaochuan's, and why does he speak like a girl? "Hello, Grandpa Tang. We're here to see Tang Tang," Xiaochen said. "Tang Tang?" Master Tang was stunned. He looked at Xiaochen strangely and said, "Didn't she tell you? She said she wanted to go abroad to relax. She's traveling, so she's not at home." "Oh? Tang Tang told you that before?" Xiaochen was stunned. It seemed that Tang Tang didn't go home. "Yes, she said she wanted to go abroad to relax. After all, she is now Mrs. Yu, and she is still living with the Xiao family. We can't interfere, so we didn't say anything." Master Tang nodded. "Did something happen?" "It's nothing. I went out earlier, so I don't know much about the situation." Xiaochen shook his head. "I'm just here to confirm this." "Oh, then please come in. I'll get someone to bring some refreshments and fruits," Master Tang said. "Xiaochen, I heard that you are now the Deputy Director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau?" "Yes." One look at Master Tang and Xiaochen and he knew that this guy wanted to curry favor with him. "You're also the sect leader of the demon sect in the outer martial world?" Master Tang continued to ask. "It's just a title," Xiaochen said lightly. "Oh, then the Tang family will be in Xiaochen's care from now on." What Master Tang was most worried about was that the mental cultivation method he practiced would be exposed. The Tang family's main branch, the Zhenwu Tang family and the Outer Martial World's Tang family, were both orthodox sections. Once they found out that Master Tang practiced the Chrysanthemum Treasured Book, they would definitely be at odds with each other. When that happened, it wouldn't be easy for Master Tang to rely on the demon sect. Now that he had Xiao Chen's recommendation, it would be much easier. So, he wanted to take this opportunity to build a good relationship with Xiao Chen. Actually, he knew that Tang Tang and Xiao Chen had an unclear relationship. He also knew that Yu Xiaochuan was just a nominal grandson-in-law. Seeing how this guy was fawning over Xiao Chen even more than himself, Tang Tang and Xiao Chen had probably always been together and he was just a shield. Thinking of this, Master Tang felt that Xiao Chen should at least give him some face. So, he asked him to take care of Tang Tang. Oh, there's definitely no problem. Although Xiao Chen didn't have a good impression of the Tang family, when he thought of the days he spent together with Tang Tang, taking care of the Tang family was something he could do. That's good, that's good. Master Tang felt relieved and invited the three of them into the house. I won't be sitting. It's getting late, we'll be heading back first. Xiao Chen didn't see Tang Tang, so his interest waned and he didn't want to pretend to be polite anymore. That. Okay then. Seeing that Xiao Chen didn't have much interest, Master Tang thought that he and Tang Tang had quarreled. He thought that Tang Tang didn't know any better. With Xiao Chen's current status, why would he quarrel? Thinking up to this point, he said, "Young Master Xiao, then I won't hold you back. If you have time, come visit our Tang family more often. Actually, compared to Xiaochuan, your relationship with the Tang family is closer." After speaking, Master Tang made a, "you know what I mean," expression. Xiao Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yu Xiaochuan didn't mind at all. Seeing that Xiao Chen had left, he couldn't be bothered to say goodbye to Master Tang and directly followed behind Xiao Chen. Previously, he was afraid that it would affect the Yu family and his identity. But now, he only wanted to be together with Xiao Chen. Since Xiao Chen was part of the demon sect, then he would naturally belong to the demon sect from now on. After speaking, the three of them boarded the car and left the Tang family home. Along the way, Xiao Chen's mood was a bit gloomy. It seemed that Tang Tang was indeed trying to avoid him. But, where did Tang Tang go? From Xiao Chen's perspective, Tang Tang shouldn't be away for too long. Firstly, she needed to go to school. Secondly, she didn't have any money on her. Chapter 787. At night, in the inner martial arts world. This place was also commonly known as the small ancient martial arts world. This was a paradise, a place where there were only real martial arts sections. The sects here all claimed to be the orthodox sects of the martial arts world. They were sects that had been passed down from ancient times. They were the true kings of the martial arts world that had evolved from the previous ancient sections. The Awakening sect was a powerful sect in the inner martial arts world. It was also one of the major demonic sects in the inner martial arts world. In the Awakening sect, a sect meeting was currently being held. Sitting at the conference table was the sect master of the Awakening sect, Situ Chitian. In fact, the Awakening sect was not called the Awakening sect before. It was just that the current sect master was more powerful, and there were also some historical reasons. Situ Chitian did not get along with the previous sect master, and his position was almost usurped. Therefore, after taking over the position of sect master, he changed the name of the sect to the Awakening sect. He was also an existence that belonged to the founder of the sect. Sitting around him were the deputy sect master, Wang Duanli, Elder Yen Mind, and another elder of the Awakening sect called Maipi. Elder Yen, look at the Kuei Mountain sect that you chose. What kind of thing is it to be so incompetent? Situ Chitian was very annoyed. The Kuei Mountain sect kept getting into trouble. Ever since Elder Yen chose it as the spokesperson of the outer martial arts world, it had almost never done anything of note. This Elder Yen was also very guilty and apologetic. In the previous inspection, Ma Ipi was a very shrewd person. I didn't expect him to be so incompetent. He couldn't even handle such a small matter. He's a selfish, overcautious man. Elder Ma Ipi spoke. He and Elder Yen had always been at odds with each other. They both wanted to compete for the position of Great Elder, so he would not let go of this opportunity to attack Elder Yen. According to my investigation, this person is useless. Alright, since we've already used the Kuei Mountain sect, let's not talk after the fact. Situ Chitian frowned and waved his hand. Let's talk about what we should do this time. The position of the Outer Martial Arts World Sect Master has been taken by Xiao Chen. Do you think the guy that we want to lure out will come out? It should be, right? Elder Yen said, it has nothing to do with who is the sect master. As long as someone is the sect master, it will be fine. But don't forget, Xiao Chen is that Chang woman's son. Situ Chitian was a little worried. What if he doesn't come out because of this? This. Elder Yen lowered his head. Since things have come to this, we can only hope for the best. At this moment, Wang Duanli spoke up. He was Elder Yan's brother-in-law, so he naturally stood on Elder Yan's side and helped him out. I feel that the one with the surname Chang probably won't say anything about this, but it's hard to say for that person. He might even come out. Yes, that's the only way. Situ Chitian nodded. Alright. Elder Yen, make arrangements to build momentum for that Xiao Chen. Let everyone in the inner martial world know that the outer martial world has a demon sect master. I understand. Elder Yen heaved a sigh of relief. This was the same as his original intention. Needless to say, he had already instructed the Quishan sect to do so. Nothing happened that night. Although Xiao Xiao wanted Xiao Chen to go to bed and hug her to sleep, her wish did not come true. Xiao Chen just sat cross-legged and cultivated at the side. Naturally, Xiao Xiao could not do anything about it. The next morning, Xiao Xiao had to go to school. Since school had started, Xiao Chen had nothing to do, so he drove to number 2 high school with Xiao Xiao. He had not been to school for a long time. Tang Tang was gone, Cheng Menjing was gone, and Jean Bebe was gone. He really did not know what else he could do in school. The familiar school, the familiar building, and the familiar classroom. When Xiao Chen walked into the classroom, he found that there was a new classmate next to his seat. Perhaps because Tang Tang and Song Huawu had dropped out, the seat was empty, so it was arranged for the new transfer student. Fortunately, Xiao Chen's seat was empty. He walked over and sat down. The new desk mate was a boy. He was dressed fashionably, but judging from the brand he was wearing, he should be from a rich family. However, Xiao Chen did not want to pay attention to this. He was just here to reminisce. Where are you from? Why are you sitting here? Xiao Chen did not want to pay attention to the boy, but the boy took the initiative to speak. His tone was not friendly, and it was a little questioning. I'm sitting in this seat. Xiao Chen was not angry. After all, the boy did not know him. From another perspective, if a stranger sat next to him, Xiao Chen would also ask, something happened at home, so I didn't come to school. Now I'm back. Oh. The boy suddenly frowned and said, I don't care if you were sitting in this seat before. I, Etsun Wuming, am not used to sitting at the same table with others. Then you can sit at another table. Xiao Chen was also angry. He wanted to explain to this person, but he did not expect this person to be so overbearing. If he did not like to sit at the same table with others, then he should not come to school. He could have his own table in a restaurant. You. Etsun Wuming's face changed instantly. He looked at Xiao Chen with some resentment, as if he was about to get angry, but after thinking about it, he said, I don't want to fight. If you don't want to get hurt, you should find a place to sit. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Oh, then don't be polite. Xiao Chen was too lazy to pay attention to him. You. If Zhen Wuming did not care about his identity and did not want to attack an ordinary person, he would have already thrown Xiao Chen out of the window. But at this time, he just saw Zheng Xiaokuan coming in from the classroom door. He immediately shouted, "Zheng Xiaokuan, you came at the right time. Let this person sit on the side. Don't be an eyesore next to me." Zheng Xiaokuan was stunned, but then he saw Xiao Chen next to Zhen Wuming. There was a flash of joy in his heart, but then it became a little sad. He walked over and said to Zhen Wuming, "Brother Zhen, this is my good friend, Xiao Chen. He is also a student in this class. He is sitting here. He did not come to school before because he had something to do. Didn't you hear me talking to you?" Zhen Wuming frowned. He grabbed Zheng Xiaokuan's collar angrily and pulled him over. "Do my words not work? Okay." Zheng Xiaokuan looked bitter. He turned his head and said to Xiao Chen in a low voice, "Xiao Chen, where did this person come from?" Xiao Chen did not want to put Zheng Xiaokuan in a difficult position, so he asked directly. He won't understand even if I tell him. Don't explain, just directly take him over there." Zhen Wuming obviously heard Xiao Chen's words and said while pointing not far away. "Zheng Xiaokuan, this person escaped from the mental hospital, right?" Xiao Chen was a little annoyed this time. He turned his head and grabbed Zhen Wuming's hair, lifting him up. The originally handsome hair was pulled into a chicken's nest by Xiao Chen. You are a martial artist?" Zhen Wuming was shocked and angry. He did not expect Xiao Chen to dare to hit him. What surprised him even more was that Xiao Chen was a martial artist, because ordinary people would not be able to lift him up with one hand so easily. "Why do you care if I'm a martial artist or not?" Xiao Chen pressed Zhen Wuming down on his seat. "If you want to study here properly, then stop. If you don't want to go to school, then scram. No one will wait on you." Zheng Xiaokuan stood aside, feeling a little awkward. He did not dare to offend Zhen Wuming, but he could not offend Xiao Chen because of this, so he could only watch from the side. "Zheng Xiaokuan, who is this person?" Zhen Wuming was furious. "Kid, I don't care if you're a martial artist or not. I don't care which path you're on. After class, we'll go out and practice, no matter what. Brother Zhen, this is Xiao Chen, the eldest young master of the Xiao family in Songning." Zheng Xiaokuan was afraid that the conflict would escalate, so he could only explain, "Xiao Chen, this is Zhen Wuming, the eldest young master of the Zhen family in Zhenwu. The Zhen family is very famous in the nearby Nanwu city. Recently, they've been expanding their business in Songning, and they're cooperating with the Zheng family." Xiao Chen nodded and said, "Since you're working with the Zheng clan and Zheng Xiaokuan, I won't touch you. However, don't make things difficult for me. Let's leave it at that." After that, Xiao Chen returned to his seat and ignored Zhen Wuming. A young master from an ordinary family dares to act arrogant in front of me? When Zhen Wuming heard that Xiao Chen was only from an ordinary family, and yet he dared to act arrogantly in front of him, a young master from a Zhenwu family, he was instantly enraged. "Fine, if you don't want your family to be destroyed because of you, apologize to me immediately and get lost in a corner. Then, I'll consider letting you go. Otherwise, you and your family will be finished." "Zheng Xiaokuan, is this the person your Zheng family is cooperating with? Is there something wrong with his brain?" Xiao Chen looked at Zhen Wuming, who was acting like a weirdo. This guy really thinks too highly of himself. "Fine, let's see if you can destroy one of my Xiao family." Zheng Xiaokuan didn't know what to say. Of course, although he knew that Xiao Chen and the Xiao family had been very powerful recently, it was only based on some previous events. He didn't know that Xiao Chen had recently been elected as the deputy director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau and the master of the Dark Sect. The Zheng family was no longer an aristocratic family, so they weren't very well informed. As for Zhen Wuming, these things had little to do with him, so he naturally didn't investigate in advance. "Zheng Xiaokuan, you don't have to persuade me. Doesn't he want the Xiao family to be destroyed? Fine, after we get our hands on it, we'll join forces and attack the Xiao family's business. I'll make him cry. Sun Wuming said proudly. This. Zheng Xiaoquan didn't know how to answer. I was worried that I couldn't find a breakthrough after coming to Songning. I didn't know where to start. Xiao Chen, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Sun Wuming looked at Xiao Chen and smiled. I wanted to beat you up before, but now, I won't. You're finished. Chapter 788. Xiao Chen looked at Sun Wuming speechlessly. Then you go ahead and stop them. I'm waiting. Humph, you really won't cry until you see the coffin. You don't know how to spell the word death. Sun Wuming sneered. The Sun family wanted to enter Songning City, but most of the businesses here were done by other families. It wouldn't be good to intervene rashly. It would be bad if the local aristocratic families joined forces to fight back. The Zheng family's business was very limited. They only had the martial arts center and the security business. Even these two businesses were snatched by the new aristocratic Liu family. Therefore, the Sun family came here and couldn't open up the situation. It wasn't good to intervene in any industry. In Sun Wuming's view, now that Xiao Chen was a fool, the Sun family would have a good reason to make a move on the Xiao family's industry. Even if other families saw it, they would think it was a personal grudge and wouldn't resist together. After all, Xiao Chen had offended Sun Wuming and caused this situation. It was a good opportunity to establish the Sun family's prestige. Xiao Chen looked at Sun Wuming. He seemed to be very arrogant. He didn't seem to have heard of the Sun family of the True Martial Arts Academy. Of course, it could be that he was ignorant and inexperienced. But no matter what, Songning City was Xiao Chen's main battlefield base. If an outsider was arrogant, he would be ashamed. Do as you wish. After you're done bragging, you can stop and go to class. You see, the bell is ringing. Xiao Chen pointed to the wall clock in front of the classroom and said, I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. I have to study. As he spoke, Xiao Chen took out the revision questions and looked at them. He was planning to take the college entrance exam himself. He had nothing to do anyway. The job in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was basically just a temporary job. He still yearned for an ordinary life. Maybe he could meet Tang Tang again when he was in college. Xiao Chen remembered that the purpose of Tang Tang's hard work was to enter a good college, so Xiao Chen felt that he should be able to meet her. Thinking of this, Xiao Chen felt slightly better. In fact, he was a very easily satisfied person. He really didn't like his current life. Of course, he didn't like his previous life either. Not long ago, he really wanted to be a real young master of a family. He wanted to be carefree, pick up girls, play with cars, and then show off with his little brothers. How wonderful was that life? However, in the past, that kind of life of pretending to be a dandy was not the slightest bit of pleasure. All day long, he was on guard against that. Now that he had the strength, he still had to run around for all kinds of things. However, since he had already embarked on this path, there was no backing down. Moreover, his father was still missing. How could he give up so easily? In the past, he didn't have the ability, so he didn't search for them in order to protect himself. Now that he had the ability, he had the responsibility to do more. Sun Wuming kept making phone calls on the side. He didn't have any intention of avoiding Xiao Chen. He was instructing the Sun family to investigate what businesses the Xiao family had, and then carry out the corresponding attacks. Of course, the target of the alliance was naturally the Zheng family. During this period of time, the Sun family's movements were very big. They quietly merged and acquired many companies in Songning City. However, because they were worried about the thoughts of other families, they didn't dare to make a big move. Now that the opportunity had come, these companies could operate at high speed. However, Xiao Chen was too lazy to listen to what he was saying at the side. He didn't need to listen. Brother Tsun, why don't we just forget about it? The Xiao family's influence in Songning City is very big. If we do this. Zheng Xiaoquan watched anxiously from the side. He didn't want to go against Xiao Chen, and he didn't think that the Tsun family could do anything to the Xiao family in Songning City. Maybe we'll be at a disadvantage when the time comes. Forget about it. Who the F***ck are you? Who are you? Tsun Wuming was commanding the formation very happily. Suddenly, he was splashed with cold water by Zheng Xiaoquan. He suddenly became furious. He slapped Zheng Xiaoquan's face and scolded, "Are you a spy of the Xiao family?" "I." Zheng Xiaoquan covered his face. His eyes were full of grievances, but he sighed helplessly. He really didn't dare to do anything to Tsun Wuming, and he had to follow his wishes. Who let the Tsun family be so strong? Moreover, this cooperation was led by the Tsun family, so Zheng Xiaoquan couldn't get a word in. He could only swallow his anger when he was hit. To be honest, originally, it was a very glorious thing for the Zheng family to be chosen to cooperate with the Tsun family as the spokesperson family of the Tsun family in Songning City. However, now it became that the Tsun family was in charge of everything. The Zheng family, the local tyrant, had completely become a hired thug and errand boy without any decision-making power. This made Zheng Xiaoquan very helpless. However, the Zheng family had already boarded the Tsun family's pirate ship. It was absolutely impossible to get down now, so Zheng Xiaoquan could only endure. He lowered his head and didn't dare to say anything. Xiao Chen looked at Zheng Xiaoquan and felt a little strange. In his impression, Zheng Xiaoquan was not such a person who swallowed his anger. But now it seemed that in front of this Tsun Wuming, he was very timid. However, since Zheng Xiaoquan didn't say anything, Xiao Chen naturally wouldn't say much. He hadn't fully figured out the relationship between the two, so it wasn't good for Xiao Chen to speak up. What if the Zheng family deliberately compromised? If he made a move, wouldn't it destroy the cooperation between the two families? In the market, those companies that were acquired by the Tsun family began to act together. The companies targeted were, of course, the companies under the name of the Xiao family. Recently, the Xiao family's business expansion had been very rapid, and it had been involved in many industries. First of all, it was the chain stores. The Xiao family stores were generally concentrated in the major business districts of Songning City. There were inevitably other stores in the business district. Originally, everyone had been living in harmony. Although there were often activities and competitions, there were rarely that kind of loss-making price war. After all, everyone was trying to make money, not to attack the opponent. This kind of self-destructive method wouldn't be used easily. However, today, the supermarkets and shopping malls near the Xiao family store seemed to be crazy. They began to crazily reduce prices and promote prices. The prices were already cheaper than the cost price, and it wasn't just a little bit cheaper. This suicidal sales method attracted a lot of customers all of a sudden. Almost all the customers in the business district gave up on the Xiao family store and flocked to the Tsun family's store. Although Tsun Wuming didn't make the decision in the Tsun family, his proposal was quickly approved by his father. If they didn't know how to cherish this kind of good opportunity, then they were really stupid. The Tsun family looked at the popular photos of the store and were very happy. They also forwarded a lot of them to Tsun Wuming. Hee, kid, it's too late now even if you kowtow to me and apologize. Look at the Xiao family's store. TSK, it's really deserted. Tsun Wuming pushed his phone in front of Xiao Chen and said. Oh. Xiao Chen glanced at it. He wasn't interested in these things, and he wasn't good at doing business. Although the Xiao family wasn't good at it, didn't they have other things they were good at? The Xie family and the Xiao family were in a cooperative relationship now. Emperor Xie was an expert in business operations. It was impossible that he didn't know how to deal with it. Sure enough, after Emperor Xie found out about this, he didn't panic at all. Ever since the Xia family cooperated with the Xiao family, the one thing they didn't lack the most was money. Since the Tsin family's store was selling goods, Emperor Xia simply gave all the store employees a holiday and let them go to the Tsin family store to buy as much as they could. After buying, they would directly send it to the Xiao family's store. Zheng family. The person in charge of Songning was the Tsin family's young master, Tsin Jiajin. He looked at the reports from his subordinates and was immediately very happy. Previously, because the Xiao family's store was a veteran, they weren't able to attract too many customers. The business could only be considered moderate. In the end, it was so popular that it almost couldn't hold people anymore. Director Tsin, Ma Duanlu's store is in urgent need of inventory. There's basically nothing left. Director Tsin, Huiqian Castle's store is in urgent need of inventory. The shelves are already empty. Tsin Jiajin wasn't nervous at all when the store was in urgent need of inventory. Instead, he said in a rich and imposing manner, "Contact the suppliers and let them deliver the goods. This is a good thing. It means that our store is popular. These customers came here to take advantage of us. Even if we revert to the original price in the future, it will still be popular if we do some activities frequently." Losing money at the opening of a business was a common method used by many businesses. However, it was all based on precise planning and arrangements. There wouldn't be too big of a mistake. However, there was no such thing as the Tsin family's decision. The Tsin family didn't calculate the cost and profit at all. It was completely impulsive. Tsin Wuming was impulsive, but Tsin Jiajin was muddle-headed because he wanted to occupy the market as soon as possible. Although he was the Tsin family's young master, he was only an heir. It was hard to say whether there would be unforeseen events in the future. He had been in Songning for more than a month, but he still hadn't opened up a business. Songning family's deep roots made it impossible for him to get a foot in. How could he not be anxious when he finally found an opportunity? Yes. The assistant quickly responded. He originally wanted to say that they would lose money if this continued, but when he saw Tsin Jiajin's high-spirited appearance, he didn't dare to say more. Of course, the store was only one of them. There were other industries, such as the hotel industry. In this industry, Tsin Jiajin wasn't stupid. Normal hotels wouldn't offer discounts. However, all the hotels that were close to the Xiao family's hotel all offered a 10% discount. In order to attract customers, they could apply for an annual card, which meant that they could stay at a 10% discount for a year. This attracted many customers. After all, the banners were out. As long as the customers weren't blind, they would be able to see it. After Emperor Xie received the report from his subordinate, he didn't pay much attention to it. He directly told the waiters who had nothing to do to go to the hotel next door to apply for a 10% discount annual card. In an instant, all the Tsin family's hotels were full. Although the customers who didn't stay saw the discount, they could only stay at the Xiao family's hotel next door. Chapter 789. As a result, those who originally wanted to stay in the Tsin family's hotel stayed in the Xiao family's hotel because there were no more rooms available. Originally, it wasn't a tourist season after the new year, so the hotel occupancy rate was only about 50%. But now, because of the Tsin family, it was close to 100%. This meant that after deducting the Tsin family's 10% discount, it was still equivalent to the Xiao family's 10% discount. Not only was the income much higher than usual, but it also made the Tsin family's hotels suffer a loss. It was just that the Tsin family hadn't discovered this problem yet. The assistant in charge of the hotel was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth when he saw that the hotels were full and that many membership cards had been applied. In fact, for ordinary people, even if they had a 10% discount annual membership card, they might not stay here every day. Who would be so free to stay in the hotel all day? Even if it was a 10% discount, it would still cost money, right? Therefore, according to the probability calculation, the real card holders would use it dozens of times a year. Who would have thought that these card holders were all disguised waiters of the Xiao family's hotel? Sun Jiajin looked at the report in his hand and instantly felt that he was going to completely dominate the Songning shopping mall. It was the same for several other industries. As long as he had a promotion or discount, Emperor Xia would send people to deal with it. Emperor Xia was also a little speechless about this kind of opponent. Acting recklessly without considering the consequences and costs, it actually benefited the Xiao family. As for the store, it soon became difficult to make ends meet. After all, the inventory of the manufacturer's agent was also limited. After being delivered, it was sold out. After a few rounds, the inventory was also gone. Even if they urgently transferred the goods from the manufacturer, it couldn't be done in a day. Without a choice, the emptied Sun family store could only be closed first, and the previously deserted Xiao family store became popular again. Although they were all normal activities, such as a free laundry detergent for 200 yuan and a free napkin for 300 yuan, they were still more discounted than usual. Therefore, many customers went to the Xiao family store after seeing that the Sun family store was closed. They didn't want to waste their trip and went to the Xiao family store. Most of the goods in the Xiao family store were bought from the Sun family store at a low price. Even if there was a promotion, they still made a lot of money. The number of customers was more than double than usual. Sun Wuming happily showed Xiao Chen the good news his father was sending him on WeChat. "Are you out of your mind? What does this have to do with me?" Xiao Chen said angrily, "Don't disturb my class. If you keep talking, I'll throw you out." "You?" "Fine, I'll tell you what, we're in a classroom, and I don't want to fight. But just you wait, I'll let you have a good time when your Xiao family is destroyed tomorrow." Sun Wuming sneered. It was not that he did not dare to fight Xiao Chen, but he was not sure of Xiao Chen's strength. After all, he was only a martial artist with stage 8 inner force. If Xiao Chen was on par with him, he might not have the upper hand in a fight. Therefore, he planned to find a chance to ask Jing Xiaokuan about Xiao Chen's strength, but he was embarrassed to ask in front of Xiao Chen. It seemed like he was afraid of Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen did not pay attention to Sun Wuming until school ended at noon. Sun Wuming proudly pointed at Jing Xiaokuan and said, "Let's go. Let's have a meal to celebrate. Today, the Sun family's business will enter Songning and suppress the Xiao family." At noon, Xiao Chen wanted to find Jing Xiaokuan to ask about the situation, but Sun Wuming called Jing Xiaokuan away first. He had no choice. Lu Zhenming just happened to come over. "Boss Xiao Chen, you're back. Skinny monkey and I missed you so much when you weren't here." Lu Zhenming said, "I'll treat you to a meal." "Oh, let's go to the cafeteria." Xiao Chen smiled and said, "Do you remember the first time you treated me to a meal?" "Huh, don't mention it. I was young and ignorant at that time. I offended you." Lu Zhenming smiled and walked out of the classroom with Xiao Chen. Skinny Monkey and Ma Gangmen followed behind like two bodyguards. However, Xiao Chen also noticed that it seemed that Lu Zhenming was forcing a smile. Although he looked happy, he seemed to have something on his mind. Xiao Chen couldn't help but wonder, "Little Lu, what's wrong with you? Not very happy? Is it because Qing Menjing left, so you don't have a goddess to look at?" "Ugh. Boss Xiao Chen, don't make fun of me. Menjing is your woman. How can I dare to think about it?" Lu Zhenming scratched his head awkwardly and lowered his voice. The Lu family's businesses are now almost all being counterattacked by the Zheng family. Martial arts hall, security company, fitness center. Now the business is greatly reduced. Oh. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned and immediately thought of something. Because of that Sun Wuming? Yeah, even our family's consecrator doesn't dare to provoke the Sun family. It's a real martial arts family. It's not on the same level as our ordinary families. Lu Zhenming sighed. "I didn't want to say this at first. I also know that you have a good relationship with Jing Xiaokuan, so even if I said it, you wouldn't help me. It would make things difficult for you, but, AI." Xiao Chen nodded and said, "I'll see the situation first. It seems that Zheng Xiaokuan has a bit of a compromise. I don't think this is his intention. Previously, Zheng Xiaokuan's expression and posture didn't seem to be willing. So, Xiaochen planned to observe him again. He could also get some information from Lu Zhenming. I don't know whether it's his intention or not. Anyway, it's the Zheng family's intention to cooperate with the Zhen family, and the Zheng family also got the corresponding benefits. Lu Zhenming said, when they just entered Songning, they didn't dare to touch other businesses. They could only attack the underworld businesses. Because the Zheng family and our Lu family have grievances, it's reasonable to make a move. The other families won't intervene. After all, the Zhen family didn't touch their territory. Oh, I was wondering why they were so happy to attack the Xiao family today. Xiaochen nodded. It seems that they can't wait. What? They attacked the Xiao family? Lu Zhenming was shocked. Yeah, but don't worry. I don't care about a small Zhen family. Xiaochen said faintly, moreover, I don't need to do anything at all. They are no match for the Xia family with normal business means. But, we still have to guard against their dirty tricks. Lu Zhenming said, the Zhen family is quite sinister. I heard that they have some connections with the Wulin families. I'm afraid, it's okay. If it was in the past, Xiaochen would be scared when he heard the words, Wulin. Not to mention the Wulin, Xiaochen didn't dare to offend the Wulin families easily. But now, well, since boss Xiaochen is confident, then I won't say more. Let's go eat. Lu Zhenming said. Outside the school, in a private room of a luxury restaurant, Zhen Wu was eating a lamb chop elegantly. He said to Zheng Xiaokuan, you eat too. Don't act like a servant. Yes. Zheng Xiaokuan thought, am I not a servant? I don't have any human rights in front of you. You scold me all day and treat me like a lackey. I've had enough. But he didn't dare to say it. The Zhen family could destroy the Zheng family in minutes. Although his father didn't say it clearly, Zheng Xiaokuan could see that his father regretted working with the Zhen family. Oh yeah, let me ask you. What's the strength of that Xiaochen? He seems to be okay. Zhen Wu asked faintly while picking his teeth. This. I'm not very sure, but I heard that he's quite powerful. He seems to be close to the level of a devil master. Zheng Xiaokuan actually didn't know. The last news he heard was that Xiaochen fought with the devil master of the Qishan sect, but he didn't know what his strength was. What? He's a devil master? Zhen Wu suddenly widened his eyes after hearing it. He looked incredulous. Are you kidding me? A small ordinary family can have a devil master? I'm not very sure about this. Xiaochen hasn't come to school for a while. I heard it before. Zheng Xiaokuan smiled bitterly. At that time, it seemed that there was a devil master from the outer martial arts sects who went to look for trouble with Xiaochen, and then, the outer martial arts sects looked for trouble with Xiaochen? Humph. Stop bullsh***. Okay, no need to say more. Zhen Wu immediately waved his hand after hearing it. A finished lamb chop bone was directly thrown at Zheng Xiaokuan's face. His throw was imbued with inner strength, and Zheng Xiaokuan was in so much pain that he almost cried. I know what you're thinking. Don't think that I don't know that you have a good relationship with that Xiaochen. Don't you just want to promote him? You want me to think that he's strong and not go against him, right? Zhen Wu Ming sneered. Zheng Xiaokuan, you're too naive. Think about it. If he's a devil master, then how can the Xiao family still be an ordinary family? Didn't they already apply to be promoted to a true martial arts family? Do you think that's possible? No. I heard that he and a few other friends chased the people from the Qishan sect away. Zheng Xiaokuan said. In fact, he only heard it from others. The Qishan sect wouldn't say the real truth, and the Xiao family naturally wouldn't say it either. He only heard a small part of it. He didn't even know if there were any deaths. That's too funny. Sun Wuming sneered. Alright, you said that he's a devil master, right? That's no problem. It just so happens that the second high priest of the family is coming tonight to check on our results today. When the time comes, I'll let him deal with Xiao Chen. Zheng Xiaokuan was stunned. He said that Xiao Chen was a devil master and how powerful he was. In fact, it wasn't that he didn't want Sun Wuming to keep the peace. If the Zhen family and the Xiao family were to fight, then Zheng Xiaokuan would be in a difficult situation. After all, Xiao Chen had helped the Zheng family speak up at the Songning Righteous Devil Summit. Moreover, the two of them were also very good friends in school. But now, he didn't expect that after saying so much, it would attract an even more powerful opponent for Xiao Chen. This made him very depressed. Brother Zhen, there's no need to mobilize so many people to deal with a child from an aristocratic family, right? If the other aristocratic families in Songning saw this, they would think that we're also going to deal with them one by one. If that happens, it'll be difficult to deal with them jointly. Chapter 790. Now everyone knows that it's Xiao Chen from the Xiao family who offended me. What's wrong with me taking out the Xiao family? Isn't that normal? Who would think twice? They'll just watch the show. Sun Wuming waved his hand. I'm doing this with a good reason. I'm not looking for trouble for no reason. Alright, say no more. I've made up my mind. Yes. Zheng Xiaokuan nodded helplessly. He thought that he had to inform Xiao Chen so that Xiao Chen could prepare in advance. Otherwise, what would happen to Xiao Chen if the Zhen family's consecrator came? Why aren't you eating? Why don't you eat? Sun Wuming pointed at the food on the table. Seeing that Zheng Xiaokuan wasn't eating much, he was unhappy. What? You don't like the food? I can eat, but you can't. Eat. Zheng Xiaokuan wasn't in the mood to eat. However, seeing Sun Wuming's expression, he knew that he had to eat. He could only bite the bullet and eat. That's more like it. Eat this plate of steak. Sun Wuming pushed a plate of steak in front of Zheng Xiaokuan. Okay. Thank you, Brother Zhen. Zheng Xiaokuan was on the verge of tears. *CK, you ordered so much, took a bite of each, and left the rest for me? Are you trying to stuff me to death? Zheng Xiaokuan almost died from eating. However, he had no choice but to pretend to be happy and return to class with Sun Wuming. At this time, Xiao Chen had already returned from his meal. Seeing Sun Wuming's arrogant look, he was amused. Where did this guy's sense of superiority come from? Did he really think that he had the Xiao family under his thumb? Xiao Chen, do you want to know the latest battle report? Seeing that Xiao Chen was ignoring him, Sun Wuming felt no sense of accomplishment. However, he didn't dare to make a move. After all, he wasn't sure if Xiao Chen was the devil master. So, it was better to wait for the family's consecrator. For the time being, he could just say something. I don't want to know, Xiao Chen said lightly. You. Sun Wuming looked deeply into Xiao Chen's eyes and said helplessly, do whatever you want, but don't cry tonight when you find out the result. Oh. Xiao Chen picked up the book and ignored him. Sun Wuming had the strength but nowhere to exert it, so he could only sit aside resentfully and take out his phone to continue contacting his father, Sun Jiajin. After school in the evening, Xiao Chen waited for Xiao Xiao, but he didn't drive immediately. Brother, why aren't you leaving? You're still waiting for someone? Xiao Xiao asked curiously. Look at Li Xiener. She didn't leave, right? Xiao Chen looked at the middle school section. I don't think so. I was the first one to run out. Xiao Xiao thought about it and said, by the way, brother, I helped you observe Li Xiener today. She's the same as usual. But I suspect. Of course, it's just a suspicion. This Li Xiener might be a fake name. Why? Xiao Chen was stunned. You also know that I'm the class's art committee member. I have the right to check the information of the class members. Xiao said, I found out that everyone has an ID number except for her. Do you think there's a problem? Oh. Xiao Chen frowned. Nowadays, many people have an ID card at birth. They don't have to wait until they are 16 years old, but they usually get one after the age of 16. If Li Xianer doesn't have one, then there's really a problem. Yes. Xiao said proudly, I found nothing special about the others, but her grades in elementary school are very average. Although she looked good in elementary school, she wasn't ugly, but she was like a black potato. Her skin wasn't good at all. Now, it's like milk. Her whole person also has an otherworldly fairy aura. Do you think she used her special ability to change her physique? Xiao Chen nodded. After waiting for a while, Li Xianer didn't come, but Sun Wuming came instead. Aha, isn't this Xiao Chen? Who's this pretty girl? Sun Wuming saw Xiao and suddenly had a feeling of amazement. He said, Sister, let me tell you. Don't think that this guy is the young master of the Xiao family. The Xiao family is about to go bankrupt. He will soon be living on the streets. There's no future for you to follow him. Get lost. Xiao said angrily, Who are you? Are you crazy? See, you still don't believe me. You should know Zheng Xiaokuan, right? If you don't believe me, you can ask him if the Xiao family is going to be finished. Sun Wuming pointed to Zheng Xiaokuan beside him and said. Brother Sun, that is Xiao Chen's sister. Zheng Xiaokuan's face was full of black lines. She is also from the Xiao family. What? Sun Wuming was stunned and didn't know what to say. He could only turn around and get into his car, a Ferrari sports car. Although he had taken a liking to Xiao, he had already reached an impasse today. There was no turning back. He could only give up for now and wait for the Xiao family to be finished. This kind of young lady who was used to living a luxurious life could be easily tricked into bed. Thinking of this, Sun Wuming was happy again as if the Xiao family was going to be finished. After a while, Li Xianer came out with her school bag. It seemed that a boy was pestering her with flowers in his hand and was about to confess to her. Nobody knew what he was talking about. Anyway, Li Xianer didn't have a good expression. She walked forward with a cold face. Seeing that Li Xianer ignored him, the boy grabbed Li Xianer. What are you doing? Zhao Yucheng, I told you that I don't want to be in a relationship. Can you stop bothering me? We are not suitable for each other. Li Xianer got rid of the boy impatiently and continued to walk forward. When passing the parking lot, Xiao suddenly opened the window and shouted, Li Xianer, take my car. I'll give you a ride. Li Xianer was slightly surprised when she heard Xiao Chen call her, but then she saw Xiao Chen in the driver's seat. She subconsciously thought that Xiao Chen wanted to help her, but at this time, she wanted to get away, so she directly got into the car. Hey, Li Xianer. The boy saw that Li Xianer got in the car, and he was a little anxious. He walked over in a few steps to open the door. However, Xiao Chen had already locked the door and started the car. He directly threw the boy off. The man named Zhao Yucheng's eyes flashed a touch of coldness. He quickly ran to the side of a Volkswagen Touareg and got in the car. He directly started the car and chased after Xiao Chen's Land Rover. In terms of grade, his car wasn't worse than Xiao Chen's, but it looked more low-key. However, Xiao Chen recognized it and couldn't help but ask, what is this person doing? He seems to be quite rich? I don't know. He transferred from another school, and then he began to chase me. Li Xianer said casually to Xiao Chen, but after she finished speaking, she suddenly felt that she was too casual in front of Xiao. She was a girl who didn't like to talk much in school. Even if Xiao Chen saved her before, it was impossible for her to be so casual with Xiao Chen. However, Xiao didn't think there was anything wrong with it. She just smiled and said, "Why don't you be my brother's girlfriend? Then, that Zhao Yucheng will give up." N. Li Xianer was stunned and looked at Xiao Xiao in confusion. "Alright, don't pretend. My brother told me that you are the same kind of person. You don't have to hide it." Xiao Xiao smiled. "Oh." Li Xianer was surprised, but she didn't explain. She thought that Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao were talking about her being a martial artist. After all, cultivators weren't easy to understand. Xiao Xiao was also a woman from an aristocratic family. She knew that there was nothing wrong with being a martial artist, so Li Xianer said, "Yes, I am also a martial artist, but my strength is too low. I don't have the ability to protect myself." When Xiao Xiao heard Li Xianer say this, she thought that she wanted to keep the matter of being a superpower a secret, so she didn't expose it. She nodded and said, "My brother is strong, so he can help you." "Alright, Xiao Xiao, don't mess around. I just came back for a few days. How can I have time to care about these things?" Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. "Don't be a hindrance when the time comes. When Zhao Yucheng saw that I left, he would be even more crazy. He thinks that since Li Xianer can be a partner with me, she can naturally be a partner with him. It's better to refuse." "That's true." Xiao Xiao nodded. "Right, Li Xianer, where is your home? We will send you back." "No need. Just drop me at the intersection in front." Li Xianer subconsciously didn't want Xiao Chen to know too much about her. "The car behind is chasing." Xiao Xiao pointed to the back of the car. "Ah." Li Xianer also saw Zhao Yucheng's car, and she suddenly had a headache. Why did he follow? Really? Hee, so I helped you get rid of him. "Tell me, where is your home?" asked Xiao Chen. "Well, my home is in Shanty Town." Li Xianer had to say, "I rented a house there." Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. How can it be Shanty Town? Is this Li Xianer so poor? Seeing Xiao Chen's doubts, Li Xianer smiled self-deprecatingly. "I'm an orphan. I don't have much money. Only my master left me some inheritance before he died, but it's not much. I have to live frugally." Since Xiao Xiao knew that she was a martial artist, Li Xianer didn't avoid the matter of her master. "It's really hard for you to listen." Xiao Xiao sighed sympathetically. Li Xianer wanted to say, "Yeah," but she heard Xiao Xiao continue, "So you really should find a rich boyfriend." "Huh?" Li Xianer looked at Xiao Xiao in amazement. "I'm kidding." Xiao Xiao stuck out her tongue. Xiao Chen showed his racing skills at this time. Although it was the rush hour, Xiao Chen's Land Rover was still as dexterous as a motorcycle. It shuttled on the road, and it didn't take long for the Ferrari sports car behind to disappear. Motherf ****. Zhao Yucheng slammed the steering wheel and shouted, "The one who drives the Land Rover, I remember you. Don't let me see you again tomorrow, otherwise, humph." As Zhao Yucheng said this, he found a double solid line and turned around to leave. The car came to Shanty Town. Because it couldn't go in, Li Xianer got off here. He nodded to her and didn't say much. Xiao Chen drove away directly. Chapter 791. After Xiao Chen left, Li Xianer thought about it. It couldn't be that Xiao Chang still wanted to learn cultivation from her, so he asked his sister to matchmake her, right? Why didn't this Xiao Chang give up? Li Xianer already knew that Xiao Xiao was not Xiao Chang's boyfriend but his sister, so her thoughts began to drift again. When Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao returned home, they saw Xie Huang and Yu Xiaochuan's father, Yunan. Second uncle Xiao Hai was discussing something with them. Seeing Xiao Chen come in, Xie Huang immediately stood up. "Xiao Chen. You're all here. Are you studying the Tsun family?" Xiao Chen nodded and asked. "Yeah, some of the businesses that our Yu family and the Xiao family cooperated with were also attacked," Yunan said. The Yu family's main business was the hotel industry. It was true that they were attacked, but it was hard to say whether there would be any effect after the attack. Even if there was, it would be a good effect. Yunnan was not as respectful to Xiaochen as Xie Huang. After all, the Yu family had Yu Xiaochuan and their strength was not weak. In fact, the Yu family could do well without cooperating with the Xiao family. However, Yu Xiaochuan insisted on cooperating with the Xiao family, so Yunnan had no choice. Although he was Yu Xiaochuan's father, the core figure of the Yu family was still Yu Xiaochuan. Whoever was stronger had the right to speak. What's the result? Xiaochen asked. Although we've all been attacked, it seems that our response measures are still good. Xie Huang said, take the chain store for example. Our business was not affected at all. On the contrary, because 90% of the goods in the Tsin family store were swallowed by us, they have no goods to sell now. Customers can only come to us. Moreover, because the price of the Tsin family store is extremely low, our purchase cost is also reduced a lot, so the profit is several times higher than usual. Good job. Xiaochen breathed a sigh of relief. Although he knew that Xie Huang and the others were not incompetent, he was relieved to hear that it was fine. The hotel business that the Yu clan was working with was also the same. Their profits were much higher than usual. Overall, it was good news. However, they still had to discuss it together. They were afraid that the Tsin clan would come to their senses and continue to play dirty tricks. The Xiao family was celebrating, and so was the Tsin family. Tsin Jiajin did not realize that his current actions were burning money. From his point of view, if he wanted to quickly open up the market, how could he not incur losses in the early stages? And now, the momentum brought about by various promotions and discounts was also very gratifying. Looking at the reports handed over by his assistants, Tsin Jiajin couldn't close his mouth. Great, this is great. In just one day, we've taken over half of the hotel and supermarket industries. The Xiao family's businesses are losing ground, yes, Director Cien. Our supermarket has been out of stock several times, and the hotel is already overcrowded, especially with many people applying for membership cards. The assistant nodded and said, not bad, you guys are very capable. Hold the Xiao family back for a few days. When the time comes, they'll be finished. We'll send people to buy all of the Xiao family's businesses. Tsin Jiajin said proudly. Actually, his plan was very good. The customers were already in his shop. Unless the Xiao family also started a price war, they could only wait for death. But the Xiao family was a small family. Could they afford a price war with the real martial clan? It was completely impossible. They could only be bought over. Otherwise, these businesses would be losing money in the hands of the Xiao family. What was the use of keeping them? Tsin Jiajin's plan was very good. This was also a very common business method. Of course, it might be effective against some small businesses, but against the Xiao family, it would be a tragedy. The Xiao family was not a small family or a small business. In terms of wealth, no one in the vicinity could be richer than the Xie family. Especially the Xiao family, the Xie family, and the Yu family were united. Not only were they rich, they also had the business brain, Xie Huang. Not only did they not lose money and wait for death, but they also gained a great advantage. This was something Tsin Jiajin did not expect. Of course, it was impossible for him to think in this direction. After all, supermarkets occupied a lot of their own business. Otherwise, why would many supermarkets like to buy on credit with their suppliers? They were also very scarce in cash. For the Xiao family to use money to buy all the goods in their competitors' supermarkets was simply unimaginable. He had never heard of anyone doing this before. This was not the stock market. It was the same for the hotel industry. It was also strange to let their employees stay in the hotel for a long time. But now that the Xiao family was rich and willful, it was not a problem. Director Tsin, you flatter me. This is all because of Director Tsin's leadership. The assistant quickly said modestly. Well, let's go. The second consecrator is coming. Let's welcome him together. Sun Jiajin stood up and said seriously. The second consecrator was not from the real martial clan's Sun family, but from the outer martial world's Sun family. The outer martial world's Sun family had sent 2 experts to the real martial clan's Sun family. This was also to make the Sun family stand out from the other real martial clans. Just then, Sun Wuming came back from school. As soon as he entered the door, he saw that his father was going out. Dad, you are going to. Sun Wuming also received the family's battle report. He wanted to have a joyful chat with his father for a while. The second consecrator is coming. Wuming, you should go with him. Sun Jiajin said. Okay. Sun Wuming was very happy when he heard that the second consecrator was coming. He wanted to find a chance to talk to the second consecrator about how to deal with Xiao Chen. They arrived at the Zheng family's gate. The Zheng family had actually moved to a remote place in the courtyard. They were not allowed to walk around. Zheng Xiaoquan felt that this was no longer his home. A commercial vehicle slowly stopped at the gate of the Zheng family's mansion. An old man in a black robe came out of the vehicle. He looked at Sun Jiajin with arrogance in his eyes and said, Jiajin, I heard that you have been here for a month and have not made any progress. The head of the previous family asked me to come and see if you are not capable or have some difficulties. The old man was very arrogant when he said this. He had the dignity and disdain of a superior. He was the second consecrator of the Sun family. The head of the previous family he mentioned was naturally not the head of the real martial world's Sun family, but the head of the outer martial world's Sun family. Second consecrator, that was in the past. Today, I have great news to report to you. Sun Jiajin said respectfully. Please come in and listen to Jiajin's detailed report. Oh? Good news? Tell me about it. The second consecrator was slightly stunned. He was a little annoyed that Sun Jiajin was so useless. He was sent to help because he had not made any progress in a month. But now, it seemed that it was not the case. Yes. After entering the living room, Sun Jiajin explained in detail how Sun Wuming obtained an opportunity from the Xiao family's hothead young master, Xiao Chen, and then seized half of the supermarket and hotel industry. Oh. Not bad. The second consecrator listened to Sun Jiajin's report. Although he felt that it was not bad, that was in consideration of the family's interests. He was a little unhappy from the perspective of personal interests. These things happened before he came, so it was not his credit. When he returned, the previous family's head would not give him any reward. This made him a little dispirited. All right, if that's the case, then continue according to your plan. I don't need to do anything. I think I will go back in a few days. Ah! How smart was Sun Jiajin. As soon as he heard the second consecrator's words, he understood the meaning behind it. He quickly said, Second consecrator, how can you leave? Today's results were only achieved under your supervision. Without your strong backing, we wouldn't have dared to challenge the Xiao family. After all, the Xiao family is a local aristocratic family. Even if we are a dragon crossing the river, a strong dragon can't suppress a snake in its own territory. But we know that the second consecrator is coming to support us, so we dared to do this. Oh? Is that so? Does this mean that I also contributed? The second consecrator was delighted. That's for sure. When the time comes, I'll report it to the upper family. Without the second deacon, we wouldn't have dared to challenge the Xiao family. All of this is because of the second deacon's support. I am not as powerful as you say. The second consecrator laughed. This way, he could get a share of the profits. He immediately felt that Sun Jiajin was more pleasing to the eye. And, since you said so, I will definitely contribute. If there is anything you can't handle, just tell me. I will solve it for you. Yes, thank you, second consecrator. Cin Jiajin quickly thanked him. That. Cin Wuming wanted to talk about Xiao Chen, but he was stopped by Cin Jiajin's eyes. Then, second consecrator, do you think we should eat at home or go to the family's hotel? Cin Jiajin asked. Let's go to the hotel. We can see how full the hotel is. The second consecrator nodded. Okay, then let's go to the hotel. Cin Jiajin said, I will contact them. I will rest first. The second consecrator said, get someone to bring me to my room. Yes. Xiao Wang, bring the second consecrator to the prepared room. Cin Jiajin ordered his assistant, Xiao Wang. After Xiao Wang left with the second consecrator, Cin Wuming looked at his father in confusion. Father, just now I wanted to say, I know. Just now you wanted to talk about letting the second consecrator deal with Xiao Chen, right? Cin Jiajin asked. Yes, exactly. Why did you interrupt me? Cin Wuming was confused. He had already talked to his father about taking care of Xiao Chen during the day, and his father agreed. Why did he change his mind at night? At this time, it is not appropriate to let the second consecrator deal with Xiao Chen directly. We need to use the second consecrator as a trump card instead of using him directly. Cin Jiajin said, if this continues, the Xiao family's hotel and shopping center will not be able to hold on. In a few days, we will be able to buy them over. However, even if the Xiao family wants to sell them, they will not sell them for a low price. At this time, we need to threaten and bribe them. The second consecrator can appear. Chapter 792. Oh. Father, you are really far-sighted. Cin Wuming immediately understood. I'm just teaching Xiao Chen a lesson for a while, but you are making the Xiao family suffer for a long time. That's right. If Xiao Chen is really a martial arts master like you said, then the Xiao family will definitely use Xiao Chen as a trump card and bring him to negotiate with us. It will also serve as a deterrent and pressure. The price they sell us won't be too low. Cin Jiajin said, but they didn't expect our second priest to be even more powerful. They can only wait to cry, ha ha ha. Okay, let Xiao Chen be proud for 2 more days. Cin Wuming thought about the gains and losses, so he wasn't in a hurry to teach Xiao Chen a lesson. Not only did he not teach Xiao Chen a lesson, but he also wanted to show weakness to the enemy, making Xiao Chen feel that he really couldn't do anything to him. When the second priest appeared, Xiao Chen's disadvantage would be huge. Maybe he wouldn't be able to accept the fact and become mentally ill. In the evening, Cin Jiajin and his son brought the second priest to a relatively high-end hotel. This hotel was also acquired, so the front desk manager didn't know Cin Jiajin and the others. He thought they were guests who wanted to stay in the hotel. In order to investigate the situation, Cin Jiajin didn't reveal his identity, but asked directly, young man, we want to stay in the hotel. 3 rooms. I'm sorry, sir. Our hotel is full because of the event. The lobby manager walked over and said politely. Oh? That room is empty? Cin Jiajin asked. This one is really empty. The lobby manager smiled bitterly. All of them are full. Then, can we have a room tomorrow? Cin Jiajin asked. This is hard to say because most of the guests booked more than 3 days. Even if there is a booking for 1 day, if they don't check out and continue to pay tomorrow, we can't kick them out, right? The lobby manager explained. Not bad. Cin Jiajin was delighted after hearing it. The second priest on the side was also very satisfied. It seemed that Cin Jiajin wasn't bragging, but it was really true. Seeing that Cin Jiajin laughed and said not bad, the lobby manager was a little puzzled. Sir, you are, Xiao Lu, right? I'm Cin Jiajin. Did my assistant, Xiao Wang, contact you before? Cin Jiajin smiled. It's Director Cin, I'm sorry. The lobby manager apologized profusely. I've never seen you before, so. Well, it's fine. I just want to see the real you. Alright, have you arranged the dinner? Lead the way. Sun Jiajin waved his hand and said. Okay, Director Sun, please come with me. The lobby manager hurriedly made a please gesture. When he went to the elevator, Sun Jiajin found that all 3 elevators were in use, which meant that there were a lot of people in the hotel, so he simply took the stairs. Anyway, the restaurant was in the basement, so it was only a few steps away. Keep it up. You've done very well. I'll report what I see. The second priest was also very satisfied with the current situation. Same to you. Sun Jiajin said happily. It was a quiet night. The next morning, Xiaochen woke up early. Looking at Xiao who was sleeping soundly next to him, Xiaochen planned to go to the morning market street to see how Kerlin was doing. He hadn't seen her for a long time. In Xiaochen's mind, he didn't have much romantic feelings for Kerlin. At most, it might be a kind of habit to take care of her. It was like that when he was in number 1 middle school, and it was still the same after he left. Xiaochen didn't drive, but ran all the way to the morning market street. It was a familiar street, but when Xiaochen came here again, it was so strange, as if it was a lifetime ago. It seemed like he hadn't been here for a long time. Looking at the familiar scene of the morning market street, it seemed that everything was getting farther and farther away from him. Fried dough sticks and tofu pudding, bacon pancake, Zhang's meat buns, all kinds of hawking were mixed with the sound of people bargaining. Xiaochen slowly walked to the market, but when he walked to the stall where Tang Tang and himself used to be, he couldn't help but be stunned. This was not Lin Kuer's family's wooden planks, but a stall selling new and strange items. Look, all kinds of new and special products. Several men in their 20s were hawking in front of the stall. Have you seen a small saw that can cut an iron bar? It's right here. Only $15. You won't lose out if you buy it. You won't regret it if you buy it. The man shouted as he sawed an iron pipe back and forth with a saw blade. Soon, the iron pipe was sawed off. The saw in his hand was only a small saw that could be held with one hand. Such a magical thing naturally attracted the generosity of the people around, because 15 yuan was really not expensive. If this thing was really useful, it was really a good price. Have you seen a magical little box that can receive all the satellite programs? This is what I'm going to show everyone today. Everyone, please take a look. As long as you connect the video cable of this box to the TV, you can receive a satellite TV. The young man nimbly connected the equipment, and then all kinds of high-definition channels appeared on the TV. There's also an adult channel, you know. As he spoke, the young man changed the channel. Suddenly, there were scenes of on the TV. Some aunties scolded the young man for being indecent, but there were also many old men who expressed great interest and wanted to buy it. At this time, an old man squeezed in with a swish, "This satellite receiver box I bought yesterday doesn't work at all." Before he finished, a young man pulled the old man out. "Sir, it's you who don't know how to use it, right? How about this, I will go home with you to adjust it." Xiaochen frowned. Go home to adjust it? Maybe they threatened and forced this old man to not dare to make trouble again? Xiaochen could guess this kind of trick. There were also things like sonic mousetraps, infrared dog scares, and the like. Some were real, but even if they were real, the effects weren't that magical. Xiaochen didn't care about these. What he was most concerned about was who the owner of this stall was. Could it be someone hired by Kerlin's family? If that was the case, then Xiaochen had really misjudged them. After watching for a while, Xiaochen left. He planned to find someone to ask about the situation. However, as he walked forward, he saw Kerlin's noodle stall. It had returned to its original position. Of course, it was at the back, and business wasn't as good as before. Kerlin. Xiaochen called out to Kerlin, who was busy. "Ah, Xiaochen. When Kerlin saw Xiaochen, a complicated look flashed in her eyes. She didn't know how she should treat Xiaochen. Was it gratitude? Love? Fear? Or nothing at all? However, every time she saw Xiaochen, she would feel very nervous, and the spinach in her hand would fall to the ground. Let me help you pick it up. Xiaochen squatted down and helped Kerlin pick up the spinach. Kerlin was wearing a short skirt in early spring, which was also the school uniform of No. 1 middle school. When Xiaochen squatted down, he saw a touch of spring between her legs. It was pink panties. Ah! Kerlin might have also realized this. When she saw Xiaochen staring blankly, her face suddenly turned red. She subconsciously wanted to close her legs, but because the spinach and water from before had spilled on the ground, her feet slipped, and her body unconsciously leaned forward. This time, Kerlin sat directly on Xiaochen's face. The pink panties also happened to press down on Xiaochen's face. The scent of a young girl made Xiaochen a little restless. He wanted to push Kerlin away, but he couldn't bear to let go of this feeling. At this time, Papa Lin and Mama Lin were attracted by the scream, and they saw their daughter sitting ambiguously on a man's face. This posture, this action. Papa Lin rubbed his eyes. It can't be, my daughter has grown up to be so avant-garde. Mama Lin was a little angry. She ran over and pulled Kerlin up. Only then did Xiaochen awkwardly crawl out from under the skirt. Auntie, Mama Lin was about to get angry. Which little brat dared to do such a vulgar thing in public? But when she saw it was Xiaochen, she couldn't help but be stunned. Isn't this Xiaochen? Long time no see. You and our Kuer are already together? Mama Lin originally wanted to beat Kerlin and Xiaochen to death when she saw her daughter fall in love. But when she saw it was Xiaochen, her attitude mysteriously changed. First, Xiaochen always helped the Lin family, and he even saved Kerlin several times. Second, she heard that Xiaochen's family was very well off, and her daughter wouldn't be at a disadvantage if she followed him. This. Auntie, it's a misunderstanding. Xiaochen could only explain while wiping his sweat. I saw Kuer drop the spinach, so I helped her pick it up. I didn't expect her to slip, and it became like that just now. Actually, we really didn't do anything. Is that really the case? Mama Lin looked at the spinach on the ground and suddenly felt a little disappointed. Speaking of which, she was very satisfied with Xiaochen as a son-in-law, but it turned out to be a misunderstanding. That's right, Mommy, why are you making such a big fuss? Lin Kuer said with a blushing face. She only felt that there was a strange feeling under her body. It was a little bashful and exciting, but it seemed to be pretty good. Shocked by this thought, Lin Kuer hurriedly shook her head. How could it be pretty good? This was a very dirty thing. Oh. Mama Lin didn't say anything more. She looked at her daughter's blushing face and felt that there was a problem here, but maybe they hadn't really confirmed their relationship. In Mama Lin's opinion, Kerlin was also growing up, and in the blink of an eye, she would be going to college in the next half of the year, so it was normal for her to have a boyfriend. And the most important problem was that the Lin family's financial situation wasn't good. Even if they had saved some money before, with the addition of Kerlin's prize money from the competition, it was only enough to buy an ordinary first-floor retail store. So, Kerlin inevitably didn't have money to go to college. If Xiaochen and Kerlin were together, then she wouldn't have to worry anymore. In the past, she thought that selling noodles could make a living, but as she grew older, and Papa Lin's health wasn't very good, so Mama Lin wanted to open a store and not work so hard in the morning market. Chapter 793. Of course, the most important thing was that the goods stall was robbed. They couldn't earn much money even if they worked so hard. Right, Kerlin, have you rented out the stall? Asked Xiaochen. Rented out? Kerlin was slightly stunned, and then said with some sadness, no, it was robbed by those people. They occupied it as soon as they came. We told them, but they didn't listen. They even wanted to beat us. We had to come back and sell it. Doesn't the morning market management office care about it? Asked Xiao Chen with a frown. His heart was a lot more comfortable. As long as it wasn't Lin's family who rented it out, it was fine. As for being robbed, it wasn't a big deal in Xiao Chen's eyes. I went to take a look, but that group of people were gangsters. The management office couldn't do anything about it. They let us solve it ourselves. Lin smiled bitterly. Xiao Chen shook his head. It seems that the management office people are not good at anything except collecting money. However, this was understandable. Many businessmen contracted the market and then hired a few people here. It was difficult for them to manage it. These people didn't need to fight with these gangsters for a few thousand yuan a month. Okay, I will go and get it back for you. Xiao Chen said, but give me a bowl of noodles first. Ah, Xiao Chen, you are going to fight again. Lin was a little scared when she heard it. The scene of Xiao Chen killing people unconsciously appeared in her mind. I am going to reason with them, but if they start first, I can't do anything about it. Xiao Chen smiled. Ai. Lin sighed. She knew that she couldn't control Xiao Chen, not to mention that he was standing up for her family. She could only cook noodles. Mother Lin was very excited. Can we really get it back? The income of her family here was really different from before. This kind of gap made Mother Lin not want to continue working. She wanted to open a shop. If she could get back her previous position, it was nothing to work hard. If you don't give it, I will beat you to death. Xiao Chen smiled. This is great. Mother Lin, on the other hand, was not afraid of fighting. She knew that if she was not ruthless to these hooligans, how could they return the money smoothly? After eating the noodles, Xiao Chen swaggered to the new and strange stall from before. This stall was still scamming people, but there were also a lot of people who had been scammed. There was nothing that could be done about it. Many old people did not understand these things and were greedy, so they were scammed. Most people just suffered in silence. Even if someone came to look for them, they would be secretly taken away by these young lads, threatened, and so on. Whose stall is this? Xiao Chen walked over and asked without beating around the bush. What's wrong? Are you looking for trouble? Without saying a word, a burly young man walked over and grabbed Xiao Chen, wanting to take him to the side to teach him a lesson. Go away. Xiao Chen sent the young man flying with a kick. He flew across the sky in a beautiful parabola and finally landed in a rubbish bin not far away. His head was facing the ground and he didn't come out for a long time. When the few young lads saw that Xiao Chen was a ruthless person, they put down the things in their hands and surrounded Xiao Chen collectively. They were not afraid. These people were all gangsters, so they took out sticks, switchblades, rubber sticks and the like from their pockets. Kid, are you looking for death? A gangster holding a switchblade asked. He seemed to be the leader of this group of people. That's right. You dare to cause trouble here. Are you tired of living? Why don't you find out who this stall belongs to? We are from the Black Crow's gang. Another man with hedgehog hair holding a switchblade glared at Xiao Chen with a ruthless face. I'm causing trouble? Xiao Chen was instantly amused. This stall is mine. Now that you guys have occupied it, you still say that I'm causing trouble. Is there such a joke? Kid, this stall is yours? The switchblade was stunned. You're the one selling the noodles. I'm not selling noodles. I'm selling fried dough sticks. I just let them use the stall. Xiao Chen said. Aha, you're selling fried dough sticks? When the hedgehog head heard that Xiao Chen was only selling fried dough sticks, he was instantly relieved. He mocked, since you let them use it, then let us use it now. Kid, now write a letter of commitment and transfer the stall to us for free. Then, we won't beat you to death. Really? Xiao Chen asked playfully. That's right. The switchblade nodded. He thought that what Xiao Chen said was true. Oh, then I'm sorry. I can only beat you to death. Xiao Chen shrugged. You're asking for death. When the switchblade realized that it had been tricked, it immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. It let out a strange cry and directly stabbed at Xiao Chen. Oh, you're right. You're really looking for death. Xiao Chen slapped the switchblade man's face and snatched the switchblade from his hand with his other hand. He stabbed the switchblade into the man's swollen face, piercing through his cheek and coming out the other side. Ow 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 ow. The switchblade screamed in pain. His mouth was full of blood. It was scary. Although these little punks were quite ruthless when they fought, it was rare to see someone like Xiao Chen. This was simply brutal. It's your turn. Xiao Chen grabbed the hedgehog head's hair and pulled hard. Gotcha, a large piece of hair and scalp were pulled off. The blood was very horrifying. If it was an ordinary person, they would only be able to pull off the hair but not the scalp. However, Xiao Chen used the skill of adding vitality. The hedgehog head's scalp fell off and his skull was instantly exposed. He was in so much pain that he didn't know if he could survive. The other punks who hadn't made a move knew that they had met a ruthless person. They didn't dare to go forward anymore. They picked up their companions and ran away. They didn't even care about the stall anymore. However, before they left, they didn't forget to say some harsh words. Kid, how dare you go against the Black Crow's gang? Just you wait. Oh, you're looking for someone? Then hurry up. I still have to go to school later. Xiao Chen looked at the time and said. However, no one replied. The few punks had disappeared in an instant. Of course, Xiao Chen didn't leave. If he left, even if he returned the stall to Ke Lin's family, the Lin family would be the one suffering. After all, these punks would definitely come back to cause trouble. Hence, Xiao Chen didn't mind waiting a little longer. Who among you has been scammed here before? Come and take some. Xiao Chen didn't have any use for these scams. He didn't want to leave them for Ke Lin's family either. Xiao Chen could tell that Ke Lin was very upright. However, Mother Lin was a little unscrupulous. If he gave these things to her, she might be able to sell them off. However, as soon as Xiao Chen finished his sentence, many people surrounded him and were ready to snatch them. What are you doing? Line up one by one. Everyone can only take one item. If you want to line up again. Xiao Chen frowned and shouted. If it were someone else, it wouldn't be so effective. However, everyone saw how ruthless Xiao Chen was. This beating wasn't a normal fight. He was beating them to death. Didn't they see how miserable the punks were? Hence, everyone quickly lined up and didn't dare to snatch anymore. Everyone obediently took one item. Not long after, the two punks who ran away previously who weren't injured returned. There was another person behind them. He didn't hide his overbearing aura at all. Xiao Chen could tell that he was a martial artist at a glance. Who dares to beat up the people from the Black Crow's gang? The overbearing man shouted from afar, Where are you from? Tell me your name. Xiao Chen frowned. Isn't the underworld in Songning controlled by the Lu family? Where did this Black Crow's gang come from? However, he didn't waste any time and said plainly, Tell me your name first. I'm one of the 4 guardians of the Black Crow's gang, Wang Jinbrick. The overbearing man said loudly, How about it? Have you heard of my name? Humph, kid, aren't you awesome? What's so awesome about a youtiao seller? Now that our guardian Jinbrick is here, you're just a piece of sh*t. A punk echoed. I've never heard of you. Where did you come from? Xiao Chen shook his head. Is there a Black Crow's gang in Songning City? Isn't it the Lu family gang? Huh, the Lu family gang is a thing of the past. Another punk immediately said, Now it's our Black Crow's gang's world. Let me tell you, if you know what's good for you, you'll die obediently. That way, you'll suffer less. Zhen Wuzhen family. Xiaochen suddenly thought of the pronunciation of the Black Crow's gang. The pronunciation of the word "tsen" was rare. Hence, Xiaochen immediately thought of Zhen Wuzhen family and what Lu Zhenming said previously. Not bad, kid. Looks like you're not just a youtiao seller. Wang Jinbrick heard these punks say that they were beaten up by a youtiao seller. After listening to the process and checking their injuries, he immediately guessed that Xiaochen wasn't just a youtiao seller. I really am a youtiao seller. Xiaochen said faintly, but you're really not worthy of being beaten up by me. If you know what's good for you, then go back. Don't come here to show off anymore. Your master, Zhen Wuming, was beaten up by me yesterday. What? Wang Jinbrick's eyes widened. My name is Xiaochen. You can verify it, Xiaochen said faintly. Wang Jinbrick's face became uncertain. He wasn't sure of Xiaochen's strength. However, as the protector of the Black Crow's gang, his status was high. Naturally, he had a way to contact the young master, Zhen Wuming, in Songning City. After some thought, Wang Jinbrick dialed Zhen Wuming's number. Young Master Zhen, I'm Wang Jinbrick from the Black Crow's gang. Wang Jinbrick said carefully. Oh, what's the matter? Zhen Wuming asked. A few of us had a conflict with a man named Xiaochen on Morning Market Street. He's very arrogant, but he seems to know young Master Zhen. Wang Jinbrick obviously didn't dare to say that Xiaochen had taught Zhen Wuming a lesson. What? Xiaochen? Zhen Wuming gritted his teeth when he heard the name. However, after some thought, he still said, you're no match for him. Retreat first. Yes. Wang Jinbrick finally understood that Xiaochen wasn't bragging. What he said was true. He had no choice. Since Zhen Wuming said so, he definitely wasn't a match for Xiaochen. He could only turn around and leave without another word. Although the two punks didn't know what was going on, it was obvious that their boss had admitted defeat. They could only follow behind dejectedly. Chapter 794. With the matter resolved, Xiaochen was quite satisfied. He believed that as long as Zhen Wuming wasn't stupid, he wouldn't easily let his underlings find trouble with Xiaochen because those underlings weren't his opponents. In these gangs, a martial artist was very bad *SS, but it was nothing in the world of martial artists. However, what surprised Xiaochen was that this Black Zhen gang penetrated very quickly. These gang members had already covered many industries. Even scammers like the morning market had set up stalls. It was really extensive. However, this also showed that the Lu family gang suffered a big loss. Lu Zhenming didn't say much before, but now it seemed that the situation was very serious. However, Lu Zhenming didn't ask for his help, which made Xiaochen sigh. In fact, if Lu Zhenming really asked, he definitely wouldn't refuse. In the beginning, Lu Zhenming got Xia Shibin's recording, which helped Xiaochen a lot. It also made Xia Shibin become Xiaochen's underling. Of course, it seemed that these things weren't needed now, but in the previous situation, it could be said to be the key evidence that could reverse the whole thing. Therefore, Xiaochen was still very grateful to Lu Zhenming. Xiaochen would naturally help the Lu family solve this trouble, and the root of this trouble was the Zhen family of real martial. As long as the Zhen family left Songning, the Lu family's trouble would be solved. When these things were taken away and the venue was empty, Xiaochen went to find Ke Lin's family. Auntie, the booth in front is empty, and they won't come looking for trouble again. You can go back. Xiaochen said lightly. He naturally didn't elaborate on the process. Really? Xiaochen, thank you so much. Mother Lin was overjoyed when she heard it. In this way, her family's income could double. You're welcome. Xiaochen shook his head. Should I help you pack up? No, let's do it tomorrow. I'm already here today, so let's not waste time. Mother Lin had already started a fire to boil water. It would be troublesome to move over again, so one more day wouldn't make much of a difference. Okay, then I'll go to school first. If there's such trouble again, just tell Kuer to call me directly. If I had known earlier, I would have come earlier. Xiao Chen said. Okay, then I'll have to trouble you. Why didn't Mother Lin ask Kerlin to call before? However, Kerlin stammered and dragged her feet, and there was no news. Seeing that there was nothing to do, Xiao Chen returned home. Xiao Xiao had already put on her clothes and was looking around. When she saw Xiao Chen, she immediately said, "Brother, where did you go? I thought you were kidnapped by aliens. You disappeared early in the morning." "Oh, I'm going out for a walk." Xiao Chen smiled and said, "Going to school?" "What school? Today is Saturday. Are you out of your mind?" Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen. "Today I plan to go shopping. You go with me." "Shopping?" Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. "Yeah, I made an appointment with Li Xiener. Aren't you interested in her? I chatted with her. She said that she was going to buy something today, so I asked her to go together." Xiao Xiao said proudly, "How is it? Your sister, is quite good, right?" Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. He just asked Xiao Xiao to pay attention to Li Xiener's abnormality, but Xiao Xiao approached Li Xiener openly. This way, he couldn't see any problems. Xiao Chen just wanted to investigate this person secretly. As a result, Li Xiener was already on guard. How could he investigate? However, thinking about it, he was afraid that there would be a time when he accidentally exposed himself. Xiao Chen also nodded and agreed. After a simple tidying up and greeting Xiao Hai, Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao drove out. The place to meet Li Xiener was the bus station near Shanty Town. When the car stopped at the bus station, Li Xiener was already standing there. Today, she was wearing a gray sportswear. She looked very youthful. If Xiao Chen didn't know her well, it would be difficult to connect her with that Xiener. Li Xiener opened the door and got in the car. She suddenly attracted the envy of a few girls next to her, but they also showed some disdain. They thought that Li Xiener was just using her beauty to attract the rich man. When he was tired of playing with her, he would dump her, and she would cry. "Where are we going?" asked Xiao Chen. "Let's go to the business street," said Xiao Xiao. "Didn't you say to go to the morning market?" Li Xiener frowned slightly. She didn't spend much money on her hands. She only occasionally worked part-time to help others to eliminate demons. However, this industry seemed to be profitable, but in fact, how many demons were there? Moreover, if there were demons that couldn't be eliminated, then there would be no money. She naturally had to be careful. "Didn't you say that I would treat you?" Xiao Xiao said, "What do you want?" "I will buy it for you." "How can that be?" Li Xiener wanted to refuse subconsciously because in her heart, she still felt that Xiao Chen wanted to learn cultivation from her, so he asked Xiao Xiao to get close to her. Otherwise, she and Xiao Xiao were just ordinary classmates before. Why would she suddenly become enthusiastic? Okay. Anyway, my family has a lot of money." In order to help Xiao Chen, Xiao Xiao had no bottom line. She wasn't this kind of girl who liked to worship money. It's not like that. It's not good, right? Li Xiener really felt that Xiao Chen was coveting her ability. "It's okay, right, brother?" Xiao Xiao blinked at Xiao Chen. Unfortunately, Xiao Chen didn't see it because he was driving. He said, "Since Xiener wants to buy it herself, then let her buy it herself." Xiao Xiao was stunned. Li Xiener was also stunned. Why would Xiao Chen say that? Could it be that he was playing hard to get? "What's wrong with you two?" Xiao Chen was a little stunned. It was understandable that Xiao Xiao was strange, but Li Xiener's expression, no, nothing. Li Xiener shook her head. Xiao Chen, there are no outsiders in the car. Tell me, do you want to learn our sex mantra? So that your sister can get close to me? You think too much. Xiao Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yeah, you think too much. My brother is much better than you. Xiao Xiao also echoed, it's possible to get you into bed, but to learn your mantra, forget it. Ugh. Li Xiener was choked by Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao. Her eyes widened, and she didn't recover for a long time. After a while, she said, Xiao Chen, you are shameless. Oh, Xiao Xiao is joking with you. How did it become me being shameless? Xiao Chen was speechless. Li Xiener, can we talk properly? Okay. Li Xiener shrugged. Then you buy it for me. I want to see what you want from me. Hee hee. Xiao Chen smiled. When they came to the business street, Xiao Chen found a parking lot. However, because of the weekend, the parking lot was already full of cars. Xiao Chen really had no place to park, and this was a no parking section nearby. In fact, as long as Xiao Chen took out the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's pass, he could park anywhere. He didn't have to worry about being punished. However, Xiao Chen wasn't the kind of person who liked to show this kind of privilege. Even if he had made a lot of contributions to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he wouldn't do it like the real Yang Jiannan. Instead, he found a slightly higher roadside not far away. He could park here, and he wouldn't be punished. There were cars nearby, but the places where cars could get on were all parked. The remaining roadside was very high. Even off-road vehicles couldn't get on. However, as Xiao Chen stepped on the accelerator, he used his primordial energy to propel the car forward, causing the front wheels to bounce up. As a result, the car drove up, causing Xiao Xiao and Li Xiener to widen their eyes. Xiao Xiao was better. She knew that Xiao Chen's ability was good, but Li Xiener was surprised. This wasn't something that a martial artist could do. Is Xiao Chen's driving skill so good? But is this something that can be done with good driving skills? Seeing Xiao Chen park his car here, several drivers around also looked at him with envy. Another driver, who was also driving the same Land Rover as Xiao Chen, was also looking for a parking space. He couldn't find it after looking for a long time. When he saw Xiao Chen go up, he also drove up. In the end, he didn't have any primordial qi. With a bang, the car's chassis got stuck on the roadside, smashing the front bumper. The driver wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He watched as Xiao Chen got out of the car in a carefree manner. He couldn't figure it out no matter how he thought about it. In the end, he came to the conclusion that Xiao Chen's car must have been professionally modified. Even the wheels were changed to larger ones. Thinking of this, the driver felt balanced. He thought to himself that he couldn't be compared to a professional. It wasn't a problem with him or his car, however, Xiao Chen had already left. He entered the mall with Xiao Xiao and Li Xiener. While Xiao Xiao was trying on clothes, Li Xiener approached Xiao Chen. She lowered her voice and asked, unwilling to give up, are you still coveting my mantra? You want to learn it? Tell me the truth. I'm really not, but if you insist on teaching me, then I can reluctantly learn it. Xiao Chen spread his hands and said. Humph. In your dreams. Li Xiener said, stop dreaming. That's impossible. And, then I don't want to learn it. Xiao Chen said, right, let me ask you something. You told me last time that you haven't seen other cultivators like you. Is that true? Yes, I really haven't seen them. Li Xiener said resolutely. Really? Xiao Chen always felt that Li Xiener seemed to be lying. This little girl looked very sincere, but in fact, he didn't know which of her words was true. Even her name might be fake. Xiao Chen believed it before, but later, when he saw the spirit of the fire attribute cultivator in the stone room under the volcano, Xiaofan thought at that time, is there really no other cultivators in this world? He had met 3, so it was impossible to only have these 3, right? Elder Heaven Ancestor, and Xiaoma, the soul of the stone room, including Li Xiener, there were 4. Li Xiener might know other cultivators, but she didn't tell him. Thinking of this, Xiaofan knew that Li Xiener might not say anything even if he continued to ask. It was a way to get in touch with her slowly. If he could get in touch with Li Xiener's circle of friends, he could basically find out something. Chapter 795. Yes. Li Xiener nodded. Xiao Chang, why do you always care about these things? You seem to be very interested in cultivators. I'm just curious. Xiaofan smiled, then moved closer to Li Xiener's ear and whispered, let me tell you a secret. Actually, I'm also a cultivator. Xiaofan's warm breath made Li Xiener a little uncomfortable. She couldn't help but blush. She snorted and took 2 steps back. Liar. He. Xiaofan was about to say something when Xiao came out of the fitting room. She happened to see the scene of Xiaofan whispering intimately to Li Xiener. She was very surprised. Wow, brother, so you really want to pursue Li Xiener? Xiao ran over exaggeratedly. Ahem, it's nothing. I'm just asking her something, Xiaofan said awkwardly. Li Xiener nodded hurriedly. Yes, your brother is asking me something. All right. Although Xiao said so, she didn't believe it. Not far away from the mall stood 2 people. Surprisingly, it was Wang Jinbrick, who had suffered a loss this morning, and Sun Wuming was standing beside him. Damn, Xiaofan is so lucky with women. He's shopping with 2 beauties. Sun Wuming said enviously. He knew that Xiao was Xiaofan's sister, but Li Xiener, who was as beautiful as Xiao, appeared. However, Li Xiener, whose beauty wasn't inferior to Xiao's, made him envious, and he also wanted to get his hands on her. Wang Jinbrick naturally saw through Sun Wuming's thoughts. As one of the leaders of the Black Grass Gang in Songning City, he had to talk to the Cin family if he wanted to become the leader of the Songning branch. Currently, most of the Black Grass Gang's affairs in Songning City were decided by Cin Jiajin. However, Cin Jiajin's status was too high. Wang Jinbrick couldn't say anything, so he used the morning's contact to curry favor with Sun Wuming. Young Master Cin, why don't I create some trouble and get those 2 girls to come here? Wang Jinbrick whispered. First, he wanted to teach Xiaofan a lesson, and second, he could curry favor with Sun Wuming. This won't do. Xiaofan is a martial master. We can't fight him head-on. Sun Wuming shook his head. He was still a very rational person, and there was no way he would lose his composure because of her beauty. Even I'm no match for her. If that's the case. Wang Jinbrick pinched his chin. Why don't I get someone to create something so that these 2 girls will misunderstand and leave Xiaofan? The one who was trying on the clothes just now is Xiaofan's sister. It's useless for you to sow discord. But the pretty girl next to her. Do you have any good ideas? In fact, if he could use some underhanded means to get Xiaofan's girlfriend to play with, Sun Wuming would also be happy to see it. And through his observation just now, he realized that this girl and Xiaofan weren't particularly close. Didn't she blush when they whispered to each other? She might even be a virgin, and Xiaofan hadn't gotten her yet. If that was the case, Sun Wuming was even more interested. Moreover, this kind of girl wasn't close to Xiaofan, and their relationship wasn't solid. A little trouble might be able to break them apart. I plan to. Wang Jinbrick whispered into Sun Wuming's ear. Sun Wuming pinched his chin and nodded with interest. Are you sure you can handle it? Don't worry. Although this mall isn't ours yet, we're still negotiating to buy it. It's just that we haven't agreed on the final price. But helping us is just a convenience, Wang Jinbrick said. Because Tsin Jiajin didn't bring many people this time, the senior leaders of the Black Tsin gang also temporarily acted as errand boys and were responsible for some business. Of course, if they did good deeds, they would also be promoted accordingly. This mall happened to be Wang Jinbrick's responsibility, and he was very familiar with the staff here. Okay, then we'll do as you say. Tsin Wuming nodded. After Wang Jinbrick got the answer, he quickly went to do his work. On the other side, Xiao Chen was accompanying Li Xiener and Xiao Xiao to shop. But after visiting a few shops, Xiao Chen was really bored, so he said, Xiao Xiao, Xiener, you two go shopping. I'll sit here for a while. Because Xiao Xiao wanted to go to a place that specialized in selling women's underwear and panties, it wasn't appropriate for Xiao Chen to follow. All right. Xiao Xiao was a little disappointed. She had purposely wanted to go. Of course, it was also because Li Xiener wanted to buy these things as well. However, the main reason why Xiao Xiao had tagged along was because she wanted Xiao Chen to choose a few for her. However, Xiao Chen had rejected her, so she couldn't keep pestering him. How would an outsider like Li Xiener look at them? Wouldn't she look down on them? In order not to embarrass Xiao Chen, Xiao Xiao didn't insist and went with Li Xiener. In a clothing store that specialized in selling women's underwear, Xiao Xiao and Li Xiener chose their favorite styles and then walked into the fitting room. Of course, this kind of clothes-fitting thing couldn't be tried on the body. Generally, it was measured on the body. When they all went in, Wang Jinbrick and a middle-aged man walked over quickly. The middle-aged man waved to the salesgirl standing on the side, signaling her to come over. Manager Yang. The salesgirl saw the middle-aged man and quickly walked over respectfully. The middle-aged man nodded and said, "This gentleman asked you to do something, just do it." "Okay, Manager Yang." The salesgirl nodded quickly. This Manager Yang was the manager in charge of the entire mall's clothing, so she naturally didn't dare to neglect him. Wang Jinbrick whispered a few words in her ear. The salesgirl hesitated after listening and looked at Manager Yang. "Do as he said. I will give you a bonus this month, 10,000 yuan. Manager Yang said faintly. "Yes." When the salesgirl heard that there was a bonus of 10,000 yuan, she immediately nodded and left. Wang Jinbrick's mouth flashed a smirk, then quietly left with the middle-aged man. He didn't forget to give Tsin Wuming a look. Who is Xiao Chen? Where's Xiao Chen? The female shop assistant ran to the resting area and shouted in a panic. She looked like she was about to explode. "I am." "What's the matter?" Xiao Chen stood up with some doubts. He looked at the salesgirl he didn't know and didn't know why she was looking for him. "Xiao Xiao fainted in the fitting room over there. Hurry up and come with me." The salesgirl said anxiously. "What? Xiao Xiao fainted? Where?" Xiao Chen subconsciously said anxiously after listening. "Come with me." The shop assistant nodded, then quickly led the way in front of him. The salesgirl led Xiao Chen through many turns and came to an underwear store, which made Xiao Chen a little embarrassed, but because he was worried about Xiao Xiao, he didn't care about it. He was a little puzzled. Xiao Xiao was also a martial artist. How could she suddenly faint? Moreover, there was nothing wrong with Xiao Xiao, so it shouldn't be possible. "Ah, isn't this student Xiao Chen? Why are you here?" Xiao Chen was walking forward when a voice sounded beside him. He turned his head and saw that it was Tsin Wuming. Xiao Chen frowned. "Tsin Wuming, what's the matter? What a joke. Is this shopping mall your home? Why can't I come? I didn't look for you. It was just a chance encounter." Tsin Wuming looked at Xiao Chen with disdain. "I was just casually greeting you. Don't treat my kindness as malicious intent." "Oh. I have something to do now. I don't have time to bother with you." "Go away," said Xiao Chen impatiently. "Ah-ha, but why did you come here? This is a forbidden place for men." Are you here to buy these underwear? Zhen Wuming didn't leave but followed Xiao Chen. He didn't forget to make a few sarcastic remarks about Xiao Chen. Then what are you doing here? Did you have surgery? Xiao Chen said coldly, I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you now. Go away. Ha, I came with my sister. What's the matter? Zhen Wuming found an excuse for himself. In fact, he just wanted to witness Xiao Chen's embarrassment, and then find a chance to take advantage of Li Xiener. Then do whatever you want. Xiao Chen said impatiently. At this moment, he had already walked into the store. Xiao Chen glanced at the female shop assistant from before. Where's Xiao Xiao? In that fitting room. The female shop assistant pointed to a fitting room not far away. Oh. Xiao Chen walked over quickly, but after 2 steps, he stopped and frowned. Something's wrong. There seems to be a problem here. Previously, he was worried about Xiao Xiao's safety. Moreover, it was the female shop assistant who came to find him. He didn't think that there might be a problem. However, seeing that Zhen Wuming was also here, Xiao Chen felt that it was a bit of a coincidence. After thinking about it carefully, the female shop assistant came to find Xiao Chen. How does she know that my name is Xiao Chen? According to her, Xiao Xiao was already unconscious. It was not a problem for the female shop assistant to know Xiao Xiao's name because Li Xiener was also here, so she knew. It was also not a problem for her to know that he was in the rest area. However, the problem was that although Li Xiener already knew that his name was Xiao Chen from Xiao Xiao, she still habitually called him Xiao Chang. Especially in this kind of urgent situation, it was impossible for her to think about such things. She definitely blurted out, Xiao Chang. The most important point was that Xiao Xiao was unconscious, so where did Li Xiener go? Where is she? Why is she waiting for me to go to the fitting room? Why didn't Li Xiener carry Xiao Xiao out earlier? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen's gaze flashed across the unlatched fitting room door. It was just an unlatched door, but as a cultivator, Xiao Chen could vaguely see that something was wrong inside. The person inside wasn't Xiao Xiao. Suddenly, Xiao Chen sneered and shouted, Xiao Xiao, are you okay? Then, he saw Zhen Wuming rush over and kick open the fitting room door. That wasn't all. After he rushed in, he even moved his hands up and down. Then, he came back to his senses and felt that his hands were pressing on something soft. Chapter 796. Zhen Wuming's mind was under Xiao Chen's control, so he hadn't completely come back to his senses. He thought it was a dream and subconsciously pinched it. It seemed to feel good. Ah! As Zhen Wuming entered the fitting room, a scream was heard, followed by a loud slap and a shrill cry. Zhen Wuming, where are you? Come quickly, your sister is being molested. I'll fight it out with you, aw. The woman in the fitting room was naturally found by Wang Jinbrick. She was a delinquent and didn't know Zhen Wuming at all. According to the script, she thought that the person who rushed in was Xiao Chen, so she immediately went into character and started acting. What the hell are you screaming for? Zhen Wuming was about to explode. He originally wanted to frame Xiao Chen and make him a pervert who peeped at women changing clothes. Then, he would embarrass himself in front of Li Xiener. However, he couldn't understand why he had rushed into the fitting room in place of Xiao Chen. That wasn't all. The worst thing was that this woman actually shouted, Zhen Wuming, your sister is being molested. How could Zhen Wuming endure that? Damn, Zhen Wuming, you sure have a heavy taste, huh? Xiao Chen's eyes widened in shock. You peeped at your sister changing clothes? I really don't understand. Why didn't you peep at home? Why did you purposely come to the mall? Oh, I know, you must have been thinking of molesting your sister at home, so you came outside to peep. At this time, Li Xiener and Xiao Xiao were also startled by the screams and commotion outside, and they saw such a shocking scene. The little delinquent was naked from the waist up and dancing in front of Zhen Wuming. She didn't care what Sun Wuming said. She was just acting according to the script, and she didn't stop. Hey, stop fooling around. Sun Wuming looked at the crazy delinquent, but he couldn't hit her. In public, everyone would see him rushing into the fitting room and molesting a girl. If he were to make a move, then he would be called a scoundrel, and his reputation would be ruined. Although Sun Jiajin didn't care about it, the Sun family did. The Sun family was going to enter Songning and replace the former Qing family as the #1 aristocratic family. If his reputation was ruined at this time, it would be a stain on his record. At that time, it would also affect Sun Jiajin's future competition for the position of the family head. Therefore, Sun Wuming had no choice but to explain while clutching his head. Even if he was a martial artist, it was useless because the other party was scratching him. As a martial artist, there was no way he could defend against it. Even if he put up a strong defense, his face would still be covered in blood. Stop messing around, I'm Sun Wuming. Sun Wuming shouted tragically, but why would the woman care about him? In the midst of the chaos, a group of security guards suddenly rushed into the underwear store, holding rubber rods in their hands, and the one who rushed in front was the middle-aged man from before, Manager Yang. Who called the security office? Where are the hooligans? Manager Yang asked arrogantly. However, before anyone answered, he pointed at Sun Wuming, who was being scratched by the delinquent girl, and said, "It's him. Everyone, go together and take him to the security office." Yes. The security guards obeyed the order, and a large group of people went up and surrounded Sun Wuming. At that time, although Wang Jinbrick knew that Xiao Chen was a master at the level of a martial artist, devil master, in his opinion, Xiao Chen acted like a hooligan in public, and he didn't dare to fight back when he was attacked by the security guards. After all, the security guards were innocent, and Xiao Chen wouldn't do such a thing. Of course, if Xiao Chen dared to do it, it wouldn't matter. He would hype up this matter and rely on it to attack the Xiao family. At that time, the Xiao family would be in a mess. The security guards rushed up and said that they would take him away, but in fact, they received Manager Yang's hint to beat Sun Wuming violently. "Ouch, stop hitting me!" Sun Wuming screamed. "I'm Sun Wuming, don't hit me. I don't care who you are." Manager Yang only cared about beating people, but he didn't remember who Sun Wuming was. Moreover, Wang Jinbrick had instructed the female shop assistant in private, so Manager Yang didn't hear it clearly. What happened to him? Xiao knew Sun Wuming. He was the person who mocked Xiao Chen yesterday. Who knows? It seems like he peeped at his sister changing clothes, so he got beaten up. Xiao Chen shrugged. As for what Xiao fainted, he didn't want to say it. Now it seemed that it was Sun Wuming who did it. If he said it, it would only make Xiao worry, so it was better not to say it. Oh, so he's a pervert. Xiao nodded. Yeah, have you chosen your clothes? Let's go, don't care about him. Xiao Chen shook his head and said. I've chosen, brother. Xiao subconsciously wanted to show it to Xiao Chen, but she suddenly remembered that Li Xianer was still on the side, so she quickly changed her words. Brother, Xianer bought a lot of sexy lingerie. Do you want to see? I won't look. Xiao Chen quickly refused. He. Xiao smiled, but Li Xianer glared at her. The three of them walked out of the lingerie store together. From afar, Wang Jinbrick was waiting to see Xiao Chen get caught by the security guards. However, Xiao Chen saw it. However, he wasn't caught by the security guards. Instead, he was leisurely walking over with two beauties. Yo? Isn't this that Wang? What's your name? Wang Jinbrick, right? Xiao Chen saw Wang Jinbrick, but he couldn't remember his name. This kind of small character wasn't worth remembering. Tisk. What do you mean? Why did you come out? Are you okay? Wang Jinbrick didn't understand Xiao Chen's words, but he felt that it was incredible that nothing happened to Xiao Chen. What can't happen to me? Xiao Chen pretended to be puzzled. Oh, I remember. Your master, Cin Wuming, was beaten because he peeked at his sister changing clothes. Really, the misfortune of Jinwu's Cin family. What did you say? Wang Jinbrick was shocked after hearing it. He said subconsciously, this is impossible. If you don't believe it, then forget it. Let's go, bye-bye. After Xiao Chen finished, he ignored Wang Jinbrick and walked away. Wang Jinbrick hesitated for a moment and quickly ran to the inner clothing store. From a distance, he saw a group of security guards beating a person, but he didn't know who it was. However, when he saw this scene, Wang Jinbrick's heart sank. He immediately quickened his pace and rushed over. Sure enough, he heard Cin Wuming scream. Stop! Wang Jinbrick was scared silly and quickly jumped out to stop them. Li Xianer came out this time to buy inner clothing. Now that she had bought it, there was nothing else to do. She followed Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao out of the mall. She said, was that person coming for you? Do you have a grudge against him? It's not a grudge. It's all right. Xiao Chen said faintly. Compared to other grudges, the grudge between him and Cin Wuming was really nothing. If Cin Wuming was quiet, then Xiao Chen wouldn't take the initiative to find trouble with him. After all, he wasn't Xiao Chen's opponent. Oh. Li Xianer responded and didn't say anything else. What do you want to eat? I'll treat you. Xiao Chen looked at the time. It was almost noon. No, you brought me out to buy things and paid for me. It's my treat. Li Xianer said. She didn't want to owe Xiao Chen too much. She still felt that Xiao Chen wanted to learn cultivation from her, not to pursue her. With Xiao Chen's qualifications, there were plenty of beautiful women he wanted. There was no need for him to waste his energy on himself. Moreover, if it wasn't their second meeting, the first time Xiao Chen saved the damsel in distress would have been the best time for him to get close to Li Xianer. At that time, Xiao Chen almost didn't pay much attention to her. He didn't even talk to her, so Li Xianer was sure that Xiao Chen definitely wasn't pursuing her. You treat? Xiao Chen was a little surprised, but he still said, okay, then we'll eat whatever you say. Okay, I say you drive. Li Xianer nodded. No problem. Xiao Chen started the car and drove according to the route Li Xianer indicated. However, what made Xiao Chen dumbfounded was that the place they came to wasn't a restaurant, but a supermarket. Is there anything delicious here? It's so remote here. Xiao Xiao looked at the supermarket outside with some confusion. The location of this supermarket was already close to Shanty Town, and the level of consumption shouldn't be high. Because the cars in the parking lot weren't full, and there weren't many good cars, Xiao Chen's car was the best here. Yes, this is it. Li Xianer nodded affirmatively and said, let's go in. Xiao Chen thought, is there a snack in the supermarket? Xiao Chen knew that in some supermarkets, there would be some snacks. Although the price wasn't high, the taste was delicious. The two people followed Li Xianer all the way into the supermarket, but what made Xiao Chen even more surprised was that Li Xianer didn't take them to any snacks, but she directly found a cart and took them to the entrance of the supermarket. Are we going to the supermarket? Xiao Xiao asked, baffled. At this time, Xiao Chen had already guessed the general situation. Li Xianer was a thrifty chick. She probably wanted to buy something to cook herself so that she could save a lot of money. Sure enough, he heard Li Xianer say, I plan to cook something for you, but you don't have to worry. My cooking skills are not worse than those top chefs in the restaurant. Really? Xiao Xiao was looking forward to it after listening. Although she didn't spend much time with Li Xianer, Xiao Xiao knew that Li Xianer shouldn't be the kind of girl who lied. If she said that the food was better than the restaurant chefs, then it shouldn't be bad. Of course. Li Xianer nodded proudly. Then we'll wait and see. Xiao Chen smiled and followed in. Without asking Xiao Chen, Li Xianer bought her own food. However, Xiaochun found that the prices in this supermarket were much cheaper. When he was in Lan City, he often went to the supermarket to buy vegetables for Su Chuxia and Tian Suru. In contrast, the prices here were very affordable. Chapter 797. Li Xianer bought a lot of ingredients, but she only spent more than 100 yuan in the end. If the three of them went to the hotel to eat these, it would cost at least 400 or 500 yuan. When paying the bill, Xiaochun didn't fight for it. Instead, he gave Li Xianer the opportunity, but then he helped Li Xianer carry the things. Although he knew that Li Xianer was a cultivator, and carrying these things was definitely not tiring, he felt that these things were better for a man to carry. After getting in the car, the three people went all the way to Shanty Town. In fact, Li Xianer didn't need to say anything. Xiaochun drove the car here. This was the first time that Xiaochun came to Li Xianer's house. Previously, Li Xianer didn't seem to want Xiaochun to know where she was. But now, it was unknown whether it was because Xiaochun was too active, but Li Xianer was not so guarded against Xiaochun. It seemed that she wanted to see what Xiaochun wanted to do. The three people walked in Shanty Town, but what surprised Xiaochun was that he actually saw Kerlin's family coming back from closing up the stall. Kerlin was pushing the cart behind. When she saw Xiaochun and the others, she was slightly surprised. Then there was a flash of loss or disappointment on her face. Xiaochun was still the same as before. He was so fickle. He actually hooked up with two great beauties at once. Although Kerlin didn't know one of them, she knew that she also lived in Shanty Town and could see her sometimes. She didn't know the other one, but she was as beautiful as Li Xianer. Kerlin, why did you close up the stall? Xiaochun naturally saw Kerlin, so he walked over and asked curiously. Mom said to go back and clean up. In the afternoon, we will go to the new venue. She just came back to replenish some ingredients. Kerlin explained. Oh, let me help you push. Xiaochun said as he wanted to push the cart. No, I won't bother you anymore. You should get busy with your own things. Kerlin quickly shook her head. I can do it myself. When Kerlin saw the two beauties, she felt a little ashamed. She felt that Xiaochun came to help her, and the two beauties looked at her differently, so she quickly refused. She didn't want to be hated by others and make them feel like she was trying to steal someone else's boyfriend. It's just something along the way. Xiaochun walked over without any explanation and helped Lin Kuer push the cart. I really don't need it. Hurry up and accompany your girlfriend. Kerlin whispered. Oh, one of them is my sister, and the other is my sister's classmate. Xiaochun said, not my girlfriend, oh. She didn't know why, but Kerlin seemed to be relieved, but she didn't know whether she was relieved or not. She didn't know why. Xiaochun pushed the cart all the way to the door of Kerlin's house, then he said goodbye to Lin father and Lin mother and left. Kerlin pursed her lips. In the end, she didn't invite Xiaochun into the house to drink a glass of water. Kuer, Xiaochun is very good to you. Mother Lin was listening to the conversation between the two people. When Xiaochun left, she immediately asked. Oh. Kerlin didn't know what her mother meant. Do you like him, too? Mother Lin suddenly asked. I don't. Kerlin shook her head in a hurry. If you don't like him, why are you jealous? I can see it. When you saw the two girls, you were a little unhappy. Then, when you heard that they are Xiaochun's sister and his sister's classmate, you became happy again. Mother Lin observed very carefully. I didn't. Kerlin was embarrassed. Mom supports you being together with Xiaochun. You're about to go to university, so you should consider dating. Mother Lin said to Lin Kuer with a serious expression. But he has a girlfriend. And not just one. He has a fiancée. Kerlin shook her head. I see. Mother Lin was a little surprised. Really? How can there be several? He has a fiancée. How old is he? He already has a fiancée. Don't lie to Mom. Mom, in fact, Xiao Chen is the young master of the Xiao family in Songning. Have you heard of the Xiao family? Lin had to say, it's the Xiao family that has been discussed recently and is expected to become the first family in Songning. What? Mother Lin was completely shocked this time. You said that Xiao Chen is the young master of the Xiao family? Are you kidding? The young master is selling fried dough sticks? Is he here to experience life? There were some problems in the Xiao family before, but now it's all good. Lin shook her head. I'm not lying to you. Tang Tang is also a member of the aristocratic Tang family. It's also because of some problems in the family that she is self-reliant. And she is Xiao Chen's girlfriend. Xiao Chen also has a fiancé named Cheng Menjiang. She was once a member of the Cheng family, the first aristocratic family in Songning. Ah. Mother Lin felt that the aristocratic families were unattainable. She usually only heard about the legends after meals, but she didn't expect to know someone from the aristocratic families. But thinking about it, the aristocratic families were really not ordinary. A young master had several girlfriends. And he even had a fiancée. But thinking about it, she heard that those aristocratic families practiced ancient martial arts. They all maintained the ancient style, which couldn't be measured by the rules of the secular world. So Mom, you don't have to say it. First of all, I don't want to compete with other girls, and I can't compete. Lin said, second of all, my family background is not high enough. They may not really like me. Maybe they just want to play around. I'm not that stupid, and I'm not that unclean. That might not necessarily be the case. I often watch palace dramas and TV dramas with big courtyards. Usually, it's easier for a woman without any background to become the queen of a harem. Otherwise, if a woman with a powerful family takes over, there will definitely be endless trouble. After Mother Lin heard about Xiao Chen's identity, she was immediately somewhat moved. Previously, she only thought that Xiao Chen had the ability and money. Now, it wasn't a simple problem of ability and money. If Lin married into the Xiao family, she would definitely rise from the bottom to the upper class. Mom, you're thinking too much. Lin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Didn't you see the news? Aren't those young models beautiful? It's fine if they just want to play around. Why should they look for me? Sigh, you're right. Mother Lin shook her head and dispelled her unrealistic fantasy. Let me tell you, don't always try to matchmake Kuer. Kuer is old, and she knows what she's doing. Why are you always getting involved? Father Lin listened to the conversation between the mother and daughter and finally couldn't bear it anymore. Are you encouraging your daughter to participate in the palace fighting of a big family? Don't you understand it when you watch TV? With Kuer's character, if she goes and gets poisoned to death, what do you think? Ugh. Mother Lin thought about it and agreed. The internal fighting of these big families was much more cruel than imagined. If someone was unhappy with Lin and directly killed Kuer, then she would cry to death. Lin suddenly thought of Xiao Chen killing people. This kind of situation where people's lives were like grass seemed to be nothing in the eyes of these ancient martial arts families. Although Lin felt that Cheng Menjiang couldn't poison her to death, she probably wouldn't be happy about it. Because of the topic just now, the three of them walked into the house gloomily and began to prepare things for the afternoon. After Xiao Chen sent Lin off, he walked back to Li Xian, and Xiao Zhao's place. It was on the way, and Li Xian's house was a few steps away. Brother, is this the little lover you mentioned outside? Why does she look so weak, like a punching bag? Xiao Zhao saw Xiao Chen come back and asked with a smile. You have another one here? Li Xian was even more surprised. She had previously believed that Tian Suruan and Su Chuxia were Xiao Chen's lovers. Huh? Xian, it sounds like you also know that my brother has another one outside? Xiao Xiao caught the word still in Li Xian's words. No. Li Xian shook her head quickly. If she said it, she would have to explain why she went to Lan City, and the matter of catching ghosts would inevitably be exposed. By then, the matter of the cultivators would be exposed. Oh. Xiao Xiao didn't ask further. In her opinion, when Xiao Chen was with Tang Tang, Shen Jingxian, Cheng Menjiang, Jin Beibei, and Yi Xiaoya, Li Xian might have seen them. Even if she knew which one it was, it didn't matter. Li Xian's house was a bungalow, but the yard was very well maintained. There were exquisite fences and clusters of nursery beds, in which all kinds of medicinal herbs were planted. Xiao Chen was a little surprised, similar to Yi Xiaoya's. In the yard, there was a cute curly-haired dog. Generally, people who lived in bungalows had dogs, so it was not unusual. However, this puppy was quite cute and clean, which was a little surprising. It seemed that it often bathed and took care of itself. However, what surprised Xiao Chen more was that this puppy had a faint aura similar to that of Invincible Dog. Could it be that it was also influenced by the herb garden? It's a little small, don't mind it. Li Xian opened the door and invited Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao in. It was a small house with 2 bedrooms and 1 living room. The area was not big, but the inside was as clean and tidy as the outside. It's very nice, very warm. Xiao Xiao praised. She had also been to bungalows, but the impression that they usually gave her was that they were shabby and dirty. However, Li Xian's house was not like that. I just clean up when I have nothing to do. Li Xian smiled and said, I'll go and cook. You guys take a rest. I'll help you. Xiao Xiao was embarrassed to sit and wait to eat, so she said. I'll help too. Xiao Chen said. You two can cook too. Li Xian shook her head. All right, you 2 young masters and young ladies. Don't be a hindrance to me. Don't look down on people. My brother used to sell youtiao in the morning market. At that time, there was a long line to buy it. Xiao Xiao said unconvincingly, it's more like I don't know how to cook. I'll just help you wash the vegetables and help you. My brother is amazing. Are you serious? Xiao Chen, you also sold youtiao? Li Xian was surprised. Otherwise, how did I know Kerlin? My previous youtiao stall is now given to her. Xiao Chen nodded affirmatively. Chapter 798. That's fine. How about this? You make a dish that you're good at, and you can do it yourself. I'll do the rest myself. Let's see who can cook better. Li Xian didn't seem to want Xiao Chen to participate in her cooking process. Oh, I'm good at everything. I'll do what you're not good at. Xiao Chen said. You're bragging. Li Xian was amused when she heard it. I'm good at everything too. Then let's split it in half. Xiao Chen smiled. It's faster this way. Otherwise, when will you finish buying so many things? That's fine too. Li Xian thought about it and agreed. Anyway, she had 2 stoves at home. So, Xiao Chen, Xiao Xiao, and Li Xian went to the kitchen and got busy. Although the kitchen was small, it was very lively. Xiao Xiao was responsible for washing the vegetables. Xiao Chen and Li Xian chose the ingredients separately. However, when it came to cutting vegetables, Li Xian didn't let Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao intervene. She did it herself. Li Xian's skillful cutting skill surprised Xiao Chen, and Xiao Chen's skill surprised Li Xian too. It seemed that they weren't bragging. At least, the level of cutting was comparable to that of a big restaurant. Hua. The 2's first dish was put into the pot almost at the same time. As the aroma filled the air, of course, some dishes didn't necessarily taste good just because they smelled good. The amount of seasoning also affected most of the taste. Both of them were making home-cooked dishes, but the difficulty was quite high. The more ordinary a dish was, the more one could distinguish who was better. Xiao Qin made san xian di, and Li Xianer made double-cooked pork. These two dishes were both chef assessment dishes. However, it was obvious that the color and aroma of the two dishes were comparable. They were quickly placed on the table, and the second dish continued. Both of them were very fast. In about an hour, 12 dishes were placed on the table in order, and the aroma filled the air. Gosh, you two will definitely be popular if you open a restaurant. Xiao Xiao drooled and praised. Hee, if I live in seclusion one day, I might really want to open a restaurant, but I don't know who can accompany me through this long life. Li Xian said with some emotion. As a cultivator, her lifespan was very long. If she had nothing else to do, Li Xianer really planned to open a small shop and spend the long years there. However, in her eyes, the person who would protect her was definitely not Xiao Chen. Although Xiao Chen was a top warrior and his lifespan had been extended, the difference between him and a cultivator was too great. Unless Xiao Chen's martial arts had reached the pinnacle, he wouldn't be able to make up for this gap. My brother. Xiao Xiao subconsciously felt that Li Xianer was confessing her love. In fact, it sounded like it. In this kind of situation and tone, only Xiao Chen was suitable for her choice. Li Xianer was stunned. She had only subconsciously sighed. She didn't expect Xiao Xiao to directly say such a sentence. She suddenly felt a little awkward. Xiao Xiao, your brother and I are not suitable. Yes, she is so guarded against me. It's meaningless for me to be with her. In fact, Xiao Chen was considering whether he should talk to Li Xianer about the fact that they were both cultivators. After all, it was not a good idea to be so guarded against her. However, out of caution, Xiao Chen restrained himself from this idea. Li Xianer could only be regarded as a beginner, but Xiao Chen was already an expert in the great completion of foundation establishment stage and would soon break through to the gold core stage. This level was already not weak. He was not afraid that after telling Li Xianer, she would ask him for advice. He was mainly afraid that she would leak the secret. What if there was a cultivator behind Li Xianer? What if others knew? What if there was a more powerful existence? These were all things that Xiao Chen had to consider carefully. For this cultivation girl whom he had only met a few times, Xiao Chen couldn't tell her the truth. Xiao Chen was not stupid. TSK, you can't even think about it. Li Xianer curled her lips as if she was implying something. Of course, Xiao Chen understood that he wanted to secretly learn about cultivation. I'm afraid that you will rely on me. Xiao Chen said. Only a ghost would rely on you. Li Xianer curled her lips. You don't say. I really know ghosts. Xiao Chen looked at Li Xianer with a faint smile. Ahem, don't talk about those things. Li Xianer warned. Oh. Xiao Chen shrugged indifferently. However, Xiao Xiao was very curious. Brother, what's the matter? There seems to be a secret between you two. Actually, there isn't. I just met her accidentally once. She was dressed like a ghost. Xiao Chen said. Of course, he didn't mean to lie to Xiao Xiao, but Li Xianer was also there, so he couldn't say it in detail. Li Xianer bared her teeth and wanted to bite Xiao Chen to death, but she couldn't refute it. Even if she refuted it, Xiao Xiao would still be confused. It was better to admit it directly. When the dishes were served, the three of them sat around. Try my cooking. Li Xianer changed the topic. My cooking is top-notch. Let's try my brother's first. Xiao Xiao picked up the san xian made by Xiao Chen and put it in her mouth. Then, she said in surprise, Brother, the dishes you make are really super delicious. Of course, why would I lie to you? Xiao Chen smiled. Hey, hey, hey. Try mine too. Mine is better than his. Li Xianer was a little unhappy. She said that she would treat, but now it was Xiao Chen who was in the limelight. However, she was confident because she added ingredients in the dishes she made. No matter how great the chef, Xiao Chen, was, or how he was comparable to the chefs in five-star hotels, it was useless. There was a natural gap. Okay. Xiao picked up the Yuxiang shredded pork made by Li Xianer with her chopsticks. The taste was really good, so she praised, "It's delicious, and not bad. This is the best Yuxiang shredded pork I've ever eaten. There is no other." Right. Li Xianer was very proud. Then, between your brother and me, who's better at cooking? It's hard to say. They're both delicious. Xiao thought about it and said. There has to be a winner, right? Li Xianer asked persistently. Isn't it simple? There's a dish that we prepared a little too many ingredients. We'll each make a plate and let Xiao have a taste. Whoever is the best will be the best. Xiao Chen smiled as he pointed at the plate of shredded potatoes on the table. This was the simplest dish, but it was not easy to make it well. It had to be sour, spicy, and crispy. The heat and knife skills were very important. Because there were more potatoes, both of them took some and made shredded potatoes, so they overlapped. That's a good idea. Li Xianer also agreed. Only two of the same dishes can tell which is better. Xiao, try it now. Xiao took a bite of Xiao Chen's shredded potatoes. After tasting it for a while, she took a bite of Li Xianer's. Both kinds of shredded potatoes seemed to be delicious, but after tasting it, she finally hesitated for a while and said, "It seems that my brother's is better." Impossible. Li Xianer suddenly became anxious and stared at Xiao. You can't be biased just because he is your brother. I'm really not biased. Xiao shook her head and said, if you don't believe me, try it yourself. Then I'll try it myself. Li Xianer said as she picked up the chopsticks and took a bite of Xiao Chen's shredded potatoes. At first, she didn't think much of it, but after chewing it twice, her face suddenly became very interesting, revealing an incredible shock. How can it be so delicious? But I believe that mine is better. After Li Xianer finished speaking, she took a bite of the shredded potatoes she made. Although it was also very delicious, her six senses were also very sharp. She immediately noticed the subtle difference. Xiao tasted the problem after eating a few bites, but Li Xianer knew that Xiao Chen's was better than hers after only one bite. She was a little unwilling, so she tasted it again. The result was still the same. The shredded potatoes made by Xiao Chen are indeed better than mine. Do you believe me now? Looking at Li Xianer's expression, Xiao Chen knew that she must have acquiesced to his opinion. How can this be? Xiao Chen, how did you do it? How can you make it better than me? Li Xianer looked at Xiao Chen incredulously. What's wrong with that? I'm a professional chef. I've said it before. It's normal for your level to be worse than mine. Xiao Chen smiled disapprovingly. But. Li Xianer hesitated for a long time, but she didn't know what to say. Could it be that I added primordial energy to the food? In this way, it would definitely be more delicious than those five-star hotels. But it wasn't good to say this in front of Xiao. She could only glare at Xiao Chen with hatred. Okay, is it more meaningful than these things? Let's eat quickly. It's getting cold. Xiao Chen smiled and said, although Li Xianer's level is a little worse than mine, it's still very good. Humph. Li Xianer was dissatisfied. It must be a coincidence. I'll try other dishes. After Li Xianer finished speaking, she began to eat other dishes made by Xiao Chen. However, after eating a circle, she was shocked. She could also make these dishes, but she had to admit that the taste was different from Xiao Chen's. It was just that she couldn't understand why she obviously added primordial energy to the food, but it was not as good as Xiao Chen's. Of course, how could she know that she, a beginner cultivator, was comparable to the foundation establishment stage's great perfection? After eating the food made by Xiao Chen, Li Xianer was a little dispirited. She didn't talk much during the meal, but Xiao Xiao ate happily. Xiao Chen also ate a lot. Okay, we've all eaten. You cooked well too. Xiao Chen looked at Li Xianer's sullenness, and he was amused. Cultivators also have the temper of a little girl. Of course, Xiao Chen knew why Li Xianer was unhappy, but what could her meager primordial energy do? After lunch, Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao also said goodbye. They also saw that Li Xianer was not in a good mood and didn't want to talk much. Naturally, they didn't stay any longer. They said goodbye and left Shanty Town. Chapter 799. After Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao left, Li Xianer picked up her chopsticks again in surprise and carefully tasted the dishes made by Xiao Chen. To be honest, she really felt that the dishes made by Xiao Chen were more delicious. However, this made her feel that it was unlikely. The seasonings were all there, and there was nothing special about them. Of course, this wasn't the key point. The key point was that she secretly added the seasonings. Could it be that Xiao Chen also had some seasonings on him and secretly added them when I wasn't paying attention? Thinking of this, Li Xianer couldn't help but feel that it was very likely. This guy wouldn't use some harmful seasonings like big tobacco shells, right? Li Xianer quickly and carefully ate a few more mouthfuls of the dishes made by Xiao Chen, but then she immediately denied this idea. Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao also ate. If he really added these, why would they eat it themselves? Moreover, Li Xianer was also confident that she could taste something different. In addition to the aroma of the food itself, there was no other smell at all. It seemed that Xiao Chen really controlled the food well and brought out the greatest aroma of the food itself. Alas! This made Li Xianer very sad. Originally, she thought that she was invincible in these aspects because she was a cultivator. She didn't know that it was not the case at all. Shaking her head, Li Xianer began to pack up her things. In her heart, she was still thinking about the purpose of Xiao Chen approaching her. She was a little regretful that she admitted that she was a cultivator in front of Xiao Chen. One had to know that cultivators were a very secretive group. Under normal circumstances, they couldn't be disclosed to outsiders. Therefore, after Li Xianer said her own things, she didn't mention anything else. When Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao arrived home, they saw that the people of the Xia family and the Yu family were still busy at home. It seemed that the battle with the Tsin family of real martial arts would not end in the next few days. However, Xiao Chen didn't want to participate in these business matters. It was enough for the Xia family to handle these business matters. In the mall, Tsin Wuming was beaten up quite badly. Although he wasn't injured, his face was bruised. In the security room, he was about to go crazy. What the F***ck, Wang Jinbrick, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? You tricked me? Wang Jinbrick was also very innocent. He didn't know that Tsin Wuming would rush in, but he didn't dare to say it. He could only lower his head and apologize. I'm sorry, young Master Cien. It's my fault. And you? I already told you that I'm Tsin Wuming, and you're still scratching me? Scratch, 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 are you crazy? Tsin Wuming didn't care if anyone was there or not. He tore off the girl's clothes like a madman. I'm spying on you? Fine, I still want to F***ck you. The young female delinquent was so scared that she didn't dare to make a sound. She was just an outer member of the Black Crow's gang. How would she know that she had scratched the young master of the Black Crow's gang? This was really courting death, but she was also a little excited. Being able to have a relationship with Tsin Wuming, didn't that mean that she could have a meteoric rise in the future? Of course, she didn't take the initiative. She just cooperated with Tsin Wuming in a pitiful manner. Manager Yang stood at the side, feeling a little awkward. He kept wiping his cold sweat. The business negotiation in the mall had entered the final step. It was going to be the Tsin family's property soon. In the end, he wanted to please the new owner, but he didn't get to do so. He hoped that after Tsin Wuming vented on this young female delinquent, he would be able to calm down. This young female delinquent used to be a prostitute. She knew all kinds of tricks like the back of her hand. At this moment, she displayed 120% of her ability and served Tsin Wuming very happily. Not bad. Tsin Wuming hugged the young female delinquent and leaned on the sofa. He had a cigarette in his mouth and asked faintly, "Tell me, how do you want to deal with that Xiaochen?" This. Wang Jinbrick was also in a difficult position. Today's plan had failed. It would be even more difficult to deal with Xiaochen. Not only did they not have a chance, but most importantly, he was prepared and wouldn't be easily fooled. Forget it. That's all you can do. Tsin Wuming was in a good mood, so he didn't blame Wang Jinbrick too much. In fact, he knew in his heart that he wanted to see Xiaochen make a fool of himself. As a result, he didn't know why his mind wasn't clear at that time. He rushed in himself. He really couldn't blame others for this. In the end, it was his own problem, so he let it go. He hugged the young female delinquent and went out of the office. He said, "You are busy. Forget about today's matter." "Thank you, young Master Tsin." Wang Jinbrick and manager Yang quickly thanked him. In the next few days, Xiaochen lived at home. He didn't go to school because there were no familiar people there. Instead, it became a sad place. When he went there and saw Tsin Wuming fooling around with Xiaochen, he was even more upset. Every day, he would send Xiao to school and then go home to rest. But sometimes after school, he saw Li Xiener and Xiao coming out together, so he would send Li Xiener back to Shanty Town. What surprised Xiaochen was that Xiao and Li Xiener had become good friends. They were often together. In fact, the reason was very simple. Xiao's previous good sister was with her boyfriend every day, and she had no time to play with Xiao. So Xiao had been playing with Li Xiener recently. "Right, when are you going to demolish this place?" Xiaochen asked as he looked at the dilapidated shanty town. The developer came to talk a few times, but although this is the suburbs, the housing price is not cheap. So everyone united to resist the developer's compensation price. The developer felt that if the compensation was too high, their profit would be less. There was no need to waste effort to develop here, so they delayed it again and again. "There is no news now," Li Xiener said. Xiaochen nodded. In recent years, with the rise of the real estate industry, many families wanted to make a fortune through the demolition, but this was understandable. The developer valued the overall profit. Once the demolition cost increased, it was normal for them to give up. Several large real estate companies in Songning City used to be in the hands of a few big families. There was no need to engage in violent demolition. If there was no money to make, they would naturally give up. "Then we will go first," Xiaochen said. "Right, now that you mention it, I remember. I heard that a new developer wants to develop shanty town in Songning. I guess there will be news in a few days," Li Xiener said. "Hee, what will you do after you get the compensation?" asked Xiaochen. "I actually don't want to demolish because I like to plant some herbs in the yard. You know, we martial artists need these to practice." Li Xiener said, "If I move away, I can't buy a similar house." "Oh." Xiaochen remembered that Li Xiener was a cultivator, so he said, "I still have a villa. It is currently empty. If you have no place to go, you can live there." "Live in your villa?" Li Xiener's eyes widened. "You want to maintain me? You think too much. I'm just lending it to you. If you don't want to, you can pay the rent." Xiaochen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Li Xiener's thinking was jumping. "Oh, I'm willing. Since it's not maintenance, it's fine," Li Xiener said, don't think about having any bad intentions towards me. You know my background. Don't blame me if you die early. Humph. Hee hee. Xiao Chen smiled. Brother, what are you talking about? Why do I always feel that you two are hiding something from me? Xiao Xiao asked after Li Xianer left. It's nothing. She is also a superpower user. She asked me to keep this a secret. Xiao Chen said, so she also calls herself a martial artist. I see. Xiao Xiao nodded and returned to the Xiao family with Xiao Chen. In the shopping mall of Songning, there was a rumor recently that the prosperous era of the Xiao family was about to change. Extreme prosperity is bound to decline, and extreme things can only go in the opposite direction. Don't look at how the Xiao family rose up quickly, but it also died quickly. Many people were sighing. No matter how powerful the Xiao family was, it was just an ordinary aristocratic family. This couldn't be changed. However, the Tsin family was a martial arts aristocratic family. The two weren't on the same level. They couldn't be compared at all. The Xiao family's industry was declining day by day, but the Tsin family's industry was thriving. Of course, these rumors were spread by the Tsin family. There was only one purpose, which was to let the local aristocratic families of Songning know the consequences of offending the Tsin family. It also let these people see the situation clearly and not help the Xiao family. As for whether the Xiao family's industry was really declining day by day, they didn't know. They didn't actually investigate it. They just speculated the situation of their opponents based on the popularity of their own industry. Their own hotel industry was full. Their own shopping malls and stores were sold out in seconds every time they purchased goods. Under such a situation, would their opponents still have room to survive? They couldn't even think about it. Because the consumer market in Songning was only so big. There were only so many people staying in hotels and buying things. If these people stayed in hotels and bought things, how could the Xiao family have a share? Director Tsin, the Xiao family is probably worried to death now. The assistant proudly reported the latest situation to Tsin Jiajin. Of course, Tsin Jiajin was happy. His wallet was also full, and the bonus every time was a lot. Well done. According to the report, our hotel is full every day. The Xiao family must have no customers. In this way, we can carry out the next step of the plan. Tsin Jiajin nodded with satisfaction. Yes, the Xiao family's hotel is losing money every day. It definitely won't last long. The assistant smiled apologetically and said, when we go there, we can buy them at a low price. This is a great contribution to the Tsin family's expansion of the Songning market. Well, there's no hurry. Let's delay them for a few more days. Let's wait until they die. Tsin Jiajin said casually with a superior look. That's right, Director Cien. When the time comes, we can also buy the Xiao family's stores. With the two of us negotiating, we can even lower the price. The assistant smirked and said, the Xiao family is losing money every day. When the time comes, they will have to agree to our request for a package purchase. Chapter 800. That's possible, but the Xiao family's business isn't just a small amount. After all, we have acquired a lot of companies during this period. If we acquire more. Tsin Jiajin hesitated before saying. Director Tsin, don't worry. The Xiao family is losing money every day. They can't hold on any longer. What good price can they ask for? Besides, if we don't acquire them, they will go bankrupt. There's nothing else. The assistant analyzed, and the price is cheap. Director Tsin, you can talk to the family. I believe the family will increase the investment. This will also show your ability. What you said makes sense. Tsin Jiajin was tempted. Indeed, the investment to acquire the Xiao family would not be small. But he had the Tsin family as his backing. By then, it would be his credit. His authority in the family would increase. Previously, he only planned to use the existing funds. After all, the funds he brought from the family to develop Songning were running out. He wanted to use it accordingly. But after listening to the assistant, he was enlightened. In fact, although Sun Jiajin received a comprehensive education in a real family, it was his first time doing business alone. It was inevitable that there were many unexpected things. This is all thanks to Director Tsun's good leadership. Oh yeah, when are we going to talk to the Xiao family? The assistant couldn't wait. It would be good for him to settle this matter. Let's do it this way. Investigate again and see if they are really at the end of their rope. We have to wait until they can't hold on any longer. Then we can take them down in one fell swoop. Sun Jiajin ordered. No problem. Although the assistant said so, it was harder than ascending to heaven for him to investigate the Xiao family's situation. They were all experienced people. They had tried to bribe a few people from the Xiao family to investigate the internal situation, but they didn't succeed. Moreover, the assistant was eager for quick results. He didn't dare to tell Sun Jiajin that he failed to bribe the opponent. He could only rely on his own subjective judgment to guess the opponent's situation. Of course, he also asked Wang Jinbrick to find a few gangsters to investigate. The result was the same as his guess. The Xiao family's business was deserted. In actual fact, those hoodlums didn't even go. They took the money and went to enjoy themselves. It wasn't easy for them to come over from the Black Crow's gang's headquarters and become a big shot. Shouldn't they hurry and enjoy themselves? Who would have the time to do the work of a private detective? When Wang Jinbrick gave his orders, the gangsters also followed his orders. In the end, the outer members received a salary of 2.5 strings. Who would take it seriously? As a result, it caused the assistant to make a serious error in judgment. Of course, it was also related to his desire for grandiose achievements. 3 days later, Tsun's Holdings issued a joint statement, deciding to fully acquire the Xiao family's assets. Of course, this was also after Sun Jiajin had received confirmation from his subordinates that his hotel was indeed overcrowded, and his store's goods were indeed in short supply. With these two premises, Sun Jiajin was instantly filled with confidence. As far as he was concerned, as long as he bought over the Xiao family's hotel and shopping center and restored the original price, he would be able to make a lot of money and earn back all his previous investments. All the major mainstream media in Songning City were reporting this shocking news for a while. Of course, these were all gossips in the streets. The ones who were most shocked were the aristocratic families. Including the Xiao family, Xie family, and Yu family, they were all shocked. Since when did the Xiao family's business become so bleak? When did they agree to let the Tsun family acquire it? What was this all about? In the Xiao family's living room, Xiao Hai, Yunnan, and Xie Huang sat together. Beside them were Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao. Originally, Xiao Chen didn't want to participate in this kind of meeting, but he was dragged in to make up the numbers. Yu Xiaochuan sat on the other side of Xiao Chen, looking a little excited. It wasn't because of the meeting, but because he was excited to be able to sit together with Xiao Chen. Is the Tsun family crazy? Releasing this news out of nowhere? What does everyone think? Xiao Hai seemed very angry because this news was released by the Tsun family alone. They didn't contact the Xiao family beforehand, and they didn't reach any consensus. How could Xiao Hai not be angry? Yes, this situation is very disadvantageous to the Xiao family, especially those who don't know the truth. They will be wary of the Xiao family's businesses. Xie Huang nodded and said, take the hotel industry for example. Those who have been there are fine, but those who haven't will think, if it's going to close down and be acquired, will they still clean the rooms? Will their service attitude be good? Yes, it's the same for the stores. At that time, everyone will think, are we selling expired products without after-sales protection? Anyway, when the time comes, they will be acquired by a new boss. Who knows, they might not even recognize the old products. Yunnan also nodded and said, however, I think this is the effect that the Tsun family wants. The acquisition might be fake, and the purpose is to attack us. Now that you put it that way, it might be possible. Xiao Hai nodded. If this was a business attack, then it could explain why the Tsun family didn't have any news about it, nor did they contact the Xiao family before releasing such a heavy bomb. I think, we can only deal with the changes by staying the same. Xia Huang said, after all, in this situation, we can't do anything. If we come forward to refute the rumors, people will say that we are trying to cover up. Nowadays, many business acquisitions will not admit it until the last moment. Instead, they will try their best to deny it. This way, regardless of whether the acquisition is successful or not, they will be in an invincible position. On the contrary, the acquiring party doesn't care. The higher the profile, the better. Even if it doesn't succeed, it's not a big deal. Yes, and we can't say that we want to counter-acquire the Tsun family's businesses. If we do, people will think that we are crazy. Yunnan sighed. Xiao Chen, what do you think? Xiao Hai had a headache, so he looked at Xiao Chen. In my opinion, counter-acquisition is fine too. This Tsun family of Zhenwu is so annoying, we might as well just acquire them. Xiao Chen didn't understand business operations, so he just said whatever he thought. Xiao Hai couldn't say anything about Xiao Chen, and Xia Huang couldn't say anything either. However, Yunnan and Xiao Chen didn't have much of a relationship, so he wanted to explain to Xiao Chen. If he did that, it would become a war of words, and others would only look down on him. However, before Yunnan could speak, Yu Xiaochuan slammed the table and shouted, yes, let's buy them. How dare he challenge Brother Xiao, I'll scratch him to death. Yunnan looked at his problematic child and could only shut his mouth. If he said anything, it would mean that the father and son didn't get along, and that would be a bigger problem. The meeting basically set the tone for the time being, which was to ignore everything and run their own business. After a long time, the rumors about the Tsun family would collapse on their own. Although there might be some impact on the business during this period, the impact wouldn't be huge. Because the Tsun family's hotel near the Xiao family's hotel had been booked by the Xiao family's employees, and the goods in the store were all sold out. So basically, if the customers didn't come, the Xiao family had nowhere to go. They could only go to places further away. However, something that Xiao Chen, or the Xiao family, the Xie family, and the Yu family didn't expect happened. On this day, when Xiao Chen had just woken up, and Xiao Xiao hadn't woken up yet, there was a hurried knock on the door. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned and asked, who is it? What's the matter? Xiao Chen, it's your second uncle. Open the door. The voice of his second uncle, Xiao Hai, came from outside the door. Xiao Chen was shocked. He could hear that his second uncle's tone was very hurried. He and Xiao Xiao slept together every day secretly. They didn't tell the family, and Xiao Hai was also busy with business matters, so he didn't pay attention to it. Although there was nothing between the two of them, Xiao Xiao was a young lady living in Xiao Chen's villa every day. If this spread out, it would make people's imaginations run wild, especially Xiao Hai. So, Xiao Chen subconsciously thought that his second uncle had discovered something. Open the door. Something's wrong. Xiao Hai said in an unfriendly tone. All right. Xiao Chen said. If she died, then so be it. He couldn't explain it even if he wanted to. After Xiao Xiao took a bath last night, she didn't wear any clothes when she went to bed. Although Xiao Chen had been sitting at the side and cultivating, if Xiao Hai found out, would he believe that nothing happened between the two of them? Xiao Chen had already guessed that his second uncle was probably here to interrogate him. He opened the door with trepidation. Second uncle, it's so early in the morning, brother, what's wrong? Who's knocking on the door so early in the morning? Xiao Xiao was woken up by the noise. She walked out in a daze with a blanket draped over her, yawning. Obviously, she hadn't noticed her father outside the door. Xiao Hai looked at Xiao Xiao. Actually, from Xiao Xiao's smooth calves, he could tell that she wasn't wearing any clothes under the blanket. Even if she was wearing underwear, Xiao Hai only took a glance and didn't say anything. Instead, he said to Xiao Chen, there's an emergency that I want to discuss with you. After all, your current status and identity are different from before. You should be the one making the decisions for the Xiao family. What do I have to make the decisions for? What emergency? Xiao Chen was a little stunned. This wasn't what he had expected. He thought that his second uncle would flip out, especially when Xiao Xiao walked out just now. He subconsciously thought that he was going to die. Just when he was worried, Xiao Hai said such a strange thing. It's like this. A person called Sun Jiajin came to the headquarters of the Xiao family group. This person is the person in charge of the Sun family in Songming City. He brought a few subordinates and said that he wanted to discuss the acquisition of our hotel and store. Xiao Hai said, not only that, there were also a lot of news media gathered downstairs. They said that they wanted to interview us. If it wasn't for the security downstairs stopping them, they would have come up. What the hell? Did the Sun family take the wrong medicine? Xiao Chen only then understood that this had nothing to do with Xiao Xiao. It was the Sun family's doing. Xiao Chen suddenly got angry. Damn it, this Sun Jiajin and his son are not good people. Doing this in the morning, this guy scared me. End of Volume 2.